so it never ends. Tone and lean and feel the groove. Every moment, a vibe you can't lose. It's for the culture, by the culture. Braylon's got the soul to show you. Breaking it down, lifting it higher. Feel the rhythm, spark the fire.
Here you leave today and enter a world of
Mickey Mouse! A world of princesses.
A world of villains.
And heroes.
Raise your sabers!
A world of other worlds.
A world of all the favorites. A world of throwbacks.
A world of
for whatever you love. Infinite worlds await.
Y'all like that thumbnail? It is Halloween after all. It's under 30 minutes left for Halloween, so let's have a evil conversation. We're talking about a Disney evil conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Calm the hell down. Good Lord Jesus. We're going to talk about Villains Land, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about Villains Land coming to the Magic Kingdom at the Walt Disney World Resort. Higher is waiting, low is available, but either way, we gotta go on tour one more time. Yes, indeed. Let me take down this iconic intro here. You see that virtual tour background? Yes, you do. You hear that virtual tour music? Yes, you do. And then there is me again. Hey, everybody, welcome in. Excuse me. Glad to have you here, John. I ate before the show. Anyway, yes, indeed. I've been just really kind of chilling out today because I knew it was going to take a lot of energy for the show that we're about to do. So I'm going to turn off my camera just for a little bit so that way I can kind of just rest and be comfortable before we get into the conversation that we're about to have. This is a bonus tour for you all. We're going to get into Disney Villains Land. Now, DSNY Newscast came out with a video talking about it. I haven't seen it. So we're going to talk about it live. This is our first reaction live here. So so there's the link there for Florentine and Phil. Come on up. I'm going to turn off my camera now. Just because, like, hey, y'all know my face. So we're just kind of chillaxing for right now until they come up. But this is very exciting. As you guys may or may not know, Disney Villains Land has been in the works for some time now. So in case you do not know how this announcement came about, let me just type in Disney Villains Land announcement there. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. And of course, we got some offhand Disney as well. So let's watch this announcement here of how this came to be. Yeah, I'm over here.
I bet you didn't expect us to close the show with Deadpool, did you? Well, I told you tonight would be full of surprises, and there are so many more to come as we enter this incredible new era. I really want to thank all of you for being. Look, I'm not going to discuss that place today.
This dark new creation leaves us with no choice but to offer persuasion.
Trust in me, trust in me, shut your eyes, trust in me, you can't sleep, stay fast.
Now, first of all, this is my first time actually seeing the full announcement. The fact that this woman sung through all this smoke and did her job well done.
D23, give it up for award-winning recording artist and queen of hearts and descendants to Rise of Red on Disney+. That was amazing. All right, we love our Disney villains, right? Their evil ambition gives us endless possibilities to tell great new stories. Excited to announce we are building a villain's land in the Magic Kingdom.
So that's how the announcement came to be. Hey, Fortin, welcome in, good sir. Glad to have you in.
Hello.
So this was where it all began. At the D23 Expo. Now, for those of you who don't know, the D23 Expo is the big kahuna, and Destination D23 is the small kahuna. Basically, you know, if you want to know where all the big announcements are going to be, it's at D23. For the just, you know, touch and go announcements or updates on anything will probably be at Destination D23. So from this, we get something quite incredible here which is the actual announcement. So, of course, we do have Offhand Disney as well, which, by the way, shout out to Offhand Disney because he is doing Offhand Universal now as well, which is going to be huge. I can't wait to see what type of content he creates out of that for sure. And I'm pulling up the Disney Villains announcement here because it shows off the where is it? It's at the map. Where is it? What the hell? Hold on, map. There we go. Let me see if I put that in. Because it had, okay, so here it is here. So right in here, hang on.
Second rumor is that the whole area will become villains.
So Cars is going to be here, Pittston Peak, and then all that is going to be villains. So that backside there. So here it is here from DSNY Newscast. I have not seen this as of yet. I know that Phil is trying to hit the link. So Phil, do you want to go ahead and then you jump in where you can, or? And like I said, first time seeing this, so I don't know what DSNY Newscast is going to say here. But as we get ready to, okay, go ahead. Okay, gotcha. All right. Before we go ahead, I know that one of the articles talked about the architecture design or architecture say that 3 times. Architecture, design, and style of Villains Land, right? And there is a guy that worked on Scar and many other villains that he is joining the cast of Evil to create this. So with that in mind, what's some of your predictions for it before we get into this?
Oh, about what?
About what DSNY Newscast potentially is going to say here. Because I haven't seen the video.
I have not seen it either. I have no idea. Concept, maybe the architecture, the art style.
Okay, kind of going more deeper into that. I do think DSNY Newscast, and by the way, if you haven't seen DSNY Newscast, he is brilliant as a content creator in the theme park sector. Very detail oriented. Kind of like myself, just a little bit. just a little bit. He's on another level. He got the whole studio and everything else. We just got what we got here. But very detail oriented. And I do believe he will try to glean maybe some attractions as well. So with that being said, let's make it do what it do. We'll watch this, and then of course we'll watch Offhand Disney as well. Here we go.
Hi. Hi there, Walters. I'm Jack, and this is DSNY Newscast. And today, I want to talk about Villains Land coming to the Magic Kingdom, or should I say, the yet-to-be-named Villains theme land that's going to be built at the Magic Kingdom over the next few years. As you see, it was roughly around this time last year that I last spoke about this topic in great depth here on the channel, and I thought right now would be a great time to dive back into this topic and discuss everything that we know about the land in terms of the storyline, the theming behind the land, the latest look at construction now that it's officially underway for Villains Land, and then also talk about the possible layout of a Villains Land at the Magic Kingdom and the logistics behind building such a land at the Magic Kingdom. And so, with that being said, let's begin by talking about the storyline and the theming. And just to act as a quick refresher, this land was announced last year at D23 in August of 2024 as part of the big final announcement for the Disney Experiences presentation hosted by Josh D'Amaro, and on stage he said that the land was going to feature
out to the Venetian Hotel in Vegas.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
Two
Venetian.
major attractions.
Very, very, very wonderful hotel, by the way. One of the biggest hotels in Vegas as well.
Oh, have you
Shopping,
stayed there?
dining,
No.
and it'll all be on an
No, I
incredibly
haven't stayed there, but I definitely would love to go sometime for sure.
twisted grand scale. So they're going big with this land. From what I've heard, Imagineering really are very invested in this project, and they really do want to blow away everyone's expectations for a Villains Land, and they really want to go big for this project. So hopefully that's what we see in a few years when we get to actually walk into this land. But then we come to the villains within the land, as you can't really have a Villains Land without the villains, and we've got our first indicator at the types of villains that we'll see within this land, as last year at D23 in Brazil in November of 2024 they showed a presentation slide that featured various villains, and on that presentation slide we had the Evil Queen from Snow White, Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, Captain Hook from Peter Pan, Jafar from Aladdin, Hades from Hercules, Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, Ursula from Little Mermaid, Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians, Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, Lady Tremaine from Cinderella, Yzma from Emperor's New Groove, Mother Gothel from Tangled, and Chernabog from Fantasia.
Now, I do want to bring something up here very quickly, if I may, ladies and gentlemen. There is a show called Disney's Villains Ever After. We're going to get into that a little bit later, but I wanted to bring that up because I don't know if the show is still going on at the Sunset Theater, but that was brought in as a way to transition the Lightning McQueen show that used to be there. But it was also a filler show to showcase what could be possible with that show. If you guys remember, I talked about how the magic mirror could be a very integral part of Villains Land, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Fullerton, what are your thoughts so far up to this point? Anything standing out as different, or are you kind of in alignment with what DSNY is saying here so far?
That's a lot of villains.
Yeah, I know, and it's kind of making me think of how they're going to take each of these villains for one land. Are we going to have multiple attractions based on each villain? Will there be, maybe a dual villain house where, Chernabog is the overlord and then Hades is under him, and we're seeing that dynamic of Hades versus Chernabog? Like, that's kind of where I'm heading right now, but that's all speculation. But yeah.
If they all get their attraction, then can we get all the attraction for the princesses? Make it fair.
Yes, make it fair for sure. All right, back to this commentary.
Now, those are the villains that they're willing to announce so far, but thanks to touringplans.com and the Disney Dish podcast, who have obtained a survey on the popularity of the villains and surveying the familiarity with the guests of certain villains. And one of the villains that was showcased within this was the Horned King from the Black Cauldron. Now, if you know animation history, the Black Cauldron was one of those movies that, it's kind of infamous because it did so badly at the box office in the 1980s. And so over time, it's kind of been shuffled to the back of the shelf in terms of Disney ever featuring the Black Cauldron. But it's very interesting to see them mention the Horned King, as Wyatt Winter, who is one of the Imagineers who's seemingly on this project, has stated in the past that he thinks that the Horned King is an underrated villain. So maybe we're going to see more deeper cuts for this Villains Land and really looking at the full breadth of the villains that they have within their animated catalogue to showcase within this land. But then we have to talk about the narrative, as Disney do like to have holistic storytelling behind the land to make it make sense. And so with this, I think we should look at the Magic Mirror. As first of all, on stage last year when it was...
Wait a minute. Did me and the DSNY Newscast have a telepathy moment just now? With the Magic Mirror.
He knows your head.
There it is. Let's keep going, everybody.
Announced, they used the Magic Mirror as part of the announcement. Then we've had Villains Unfairly Ever After, where the magic mirror has been critical to that narrative behind the show of where the magic mirror is using us, the guests, to help decide who's been most unfairly treated of them all. And then also, whenever the villains show up in Phantasmic, the magic mirror is used within that as well. So whenever villains show up, magic mirror kind of goes hand in hand. So I kind of think that the magic mirror will be used in some way within the land as well. And I'm just speculating here, but I think it would be really cool if they kind of had digital displays within the windows of the shops and the different buildings within the land, where they could dynamically come to life and become interactive with the magic mirror, showcasing different types of villains that would be there in animated form, kind of banging on the magic mirror glass to try and get out through the land. I think that would be...
Wait a minute. Florian and Phil, is there any attraction, or actually take that back, let's forget attraction. Is there any land in Orlando, Florida that's open right now that is a part of a whole universe that I believe you can do that in a place called Paris, or a magical version of Paris? Can somebody fill in the blank for me there, please, and thank you.
You mean Ratatouille?
No, not Ratatouille.
In Paris?
Yes, we're talking about another park, though.
Another park?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Disneyland Paris.
Nope, it's a book series.
Oh, I see. Oh, a books. Oh, yeah, Beauty and the Beast, Gaston.
No, not that
Right?
one. Mm-mm.
A book series. A French book series.
Disney had access to this series and passed on it.
And it's French? Oh.
And now it's at its competitor.
Oh.
You gotta ride the Hogsmeade train to get there.
Oh, yeah, Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that at the
yeah, you got me at, you got me at the Paris. Why I wasn't thinking about that? Okay, you got me.
So it's interesting with DSNY Newscast how we're pointing out similarities of things. I don't think he's hit my idea with the magic mirror yet. And if you watch that particular live, I gave away what I think they can do with the magic mirror. I think Florian and Phil were there for that live, so I think they know as well. So let's get back to it. This was interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool way of integrating them and having that interactivity within different parts of the land as well. Then in terms of the theming for this land, now it would probably be pretty easy to just look at the animated catalog and just put that into one land, but the problem with that is it would be thematically broken, as each one of the different animated movies has a very different style of location and environment that the villains are showcased within. And so Imagineering have created this new type of architectural styling that they announced on stage at Destination D23 this past August, that they said it's going to be called conjured architecture. And this is really looking for inspiration from Art Nouveau in Paris and the Catalan modernism from Barcelona within the architecture there, to kind of create this new type of architectural styling that they'll feature within the land itself of Villains Land, called conjured architecture. And so in many ways it's kind of the opposite to what we see within Cinderella Castle. Cinderella Castle uses fantasy inspired Gothic and Gothic revival architecture, and also Baroque romanticism, as well as some French Renaissance motifs within the castle design. Whereas this design of conjured architecture should make you feel a little bit uneasy about the architectural stylings, and where they all kind of look a little bit broken and jagged and kind of reaching in and trying to reclaim the land itself. And just to dive into this a little bit more, to give us a better idea of what this Villains Land will look like, I've looked at the notable locations that were shown within this presentation slide here that you can see. And first of all, Imagineering are looking at Catalan modernism. as a major inspiration behind this land. So here we can see you've got Casa Batlló, which is nicknamed as the House of Bones, for very obvious reasons here. You've got Casa Mille and also Palo Grey, which is this kind of design here that you can see within this photo of this kind of spinal structure within the interior of the building. And all of this was designed by a famed architect of the late 1800s called Antoni Gaudí. But it's important to look at the inspiration behind the design of this conjured architecture. As we can see here in these photos, that you've got kind of the skeleton structural motifs like the balconies that resemble skulls and a roofline that resembles the spine of a dragon. So
when it comes to that spine of a dragon, could we think about Maleficent? And maybe that the roof could be the scales of Maleficent's dragon. Could that be a possibility?
Could be.
You see, with the theme park industry, whatever you think something is always more than meets the eye of the words of Optimus Prime. And also, too, like we talked about in our last live, about Disney was so detailed back in the day, this could be a way for them to really utilize the texture and the depth of all these villains on the doors, the doorknobs, the curtains, the carpet. I mean, let's not forget about one of the most famous wallpapers of all time in the Haunted Mansion. To the point where people literally get that wallpaper to put in their house, which I don't understand why, because, you sleep and it moves, then, you're kind of screwed, essentially. But just saying. Let's see. Same on detail too. Absolutely, you are my friend. I made a dining experience around the Horn King. Awesome. It's an epic universe. Yes, very far. I thought the boy was English. You mean DSNY Newscast? I think he is British, I think. All right, back to the commentary here. Here we go.
all of these kind of elements here that will kind of build this Villains Land aesthetic and the theming of the land itself. And then also in terms of the ironwork and the more decorative elements within the land, they looked at more Art Nouveau in Paris, and we can see here ironwork that was designed by French architect Hector Guimard, and this kind of looks very much like inspired by the thorns of a bramble bush kind of thing within the actual decorative design there as well. And that will be very much for Maleficent, I think, within the designs of Villains Land as well, that kind of decorative ironwork that we'll see within the land as well. And so what we can expect from this Villains Land in terms of the theming is something that's very rooted in reality for the actual design itself, that isn't going to be overly cartoonish or anything like that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the latest construction now that it's officially underway, and also the possible layout for a Villains Land. But before we do, I just want to say a quick thanks to the sponsor of today's video, and that is Uber Eats. As you see, when I'm making these kind of in-depth, longer form videos, I oftentimes spend hours and hours and hours editing these videos, and I can lose track of time. And that's where I found Uber Eats to be really useful, as I don't have to skip lunch or skip dinner. I can just open up the app and easily order in just a few taps from hundreds of restaurants. But it's not just about ordering Uber Eats to my home. I actually find Uber Eats really useful when I'm traveling, as back in July when I visited California to go to Disneyland and Imagineering HQ, I got into California so late at night that I didn't want to go out and try and find a restaurant and have a sit-down meal and all that sort of stuff. Instead, I just got to my hotel room, I opened up the Uber Eats app, and I looked at the hundreds of restaurants of all the different types of cuisine that they had available in the app. and I ordered and had it delivered by Uber Eats directly to my door with no contact required, which was fantastic, because then that way I could get an early night's sleep and get going for the tour of Imagineering the next day. So whatever you're craving, from pizza and burgers to salad and sushi, browse, order, enjoy with Uber Eats. And if you use my link in the description box below or scan the QR code that you can see on the screen right now, you can use my offer code of DSNY15 and get $15 off your first order with a minimum basket of $20. Thanks to Uber Eats for sponsoring today's video. Now, as promised, let's look at the latest in terms of construction on this Villains themed land. As you see, Rivers of America closed back in July, and Disney has now finally got all of the construction walls up around the perimeter of Rivers of America. So they've now drained the Rivers of America down to the basin, and they're starting all the preliminary prep work for the construction site of Rivers of America there. And as we can see here, thanks to BioReconstruct over on Twitter, or X, who does fantastic work in terms of always getting these aerial images of the Disney parks for all of us, Rivers of America and the waterways down near the back of where Tiana's Bayou Adventure is, around the backstage area, has actually been dammed. So they will be blocking that area off, and that'll be permanently dammed, so therefore no more water will be coming in to the Rivers of America construction area. And obviously it goes beyond just draining the rivers. We're now going to start talking about demolition, as demolition has actually begun. As we can see here in this image, thanks to BioReconstruct, that Fort Langhorne has been completely demolished, completely torn down in this image that we can see here. And then also in the front section here, Art Polly's has also been completely demolished, along with the dock in front of Art Polly's for the former quick service restaurant there. And also on the other side of the former Tom Sawyer Island, Harper's Mill, Potter's Mill, and Huck's Landing, which is where the watercraft used to dock up against, has also been reduced to rubble as well, as we can see in these images from BioReconstruct. And also thanks to blogmickey.com, we can see here in these photos that they've also begun to demolish the cave systems that were also on Tom Sawyer Island as well. And so as we can see, they're moving very quickly on the demolition of Tom Sawyer Island here, so therefore they can begin the land grading and begin construction for the front section, the 4 acres at the front, which is where the Cars National Park.
Now this is Piston Peak. For those of you who don't know, they're trying to bring cars to the East Coast. Now, La Renee Creole said the best thing you could do is change the Tomorrowland Speedway to cars, which would probably be more feasible and more cost effective. Because what you don't want to do is do something that the people don't like, which you're doing, and it doesn't work out. If it doesn't work out, then you're screwed at that point. Hey, you Phil, welcome in, good sir.
Hello, you can see me now?
Yes, we can, loud and clear, good sir.
Hey, Phil.
Alright. I think, okay. I'm going to have to ask you guys about some tech support about how to get this, working, the webcam and the audio tomorrow after the show, because once again, for the third time, I have to use my phone. I don't understand. I got a webcam that's been built into my laptop for the last 7 years.
It may be your browser too.
Well, that's the thing. The how to modify audio settings says turn off a bunch of firewalls, or the camera, and I did all of that. I must be doing something wrong here. So I'll bother you guys tomorrow.
Well, we'll get it together for sure.
Oh yeah.
So what are you thinking about what DSNY Newscast is saying so far? Is there anything that is is there anything off the wall to you that you've heard so far, or are you agreeing so far with what he's saying? What's your take on what he has said so far?
What's Florence's opinion? Because I was kind of in and out, out of focus.
So basically, he talked about the conjured architecture and how there's going to be so many different villains. So he talked about that, but he also talked about how construction has already started on Rivers of America to put this in for Piston Peak. So he was basically saying that when it comes to Villains Land, it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to blend so many different villains from different movies.
It's a good thing you just came on because the footage was sad. The most.
No, I'm just testing my camera here. I'm listening to it on mute on the laptop while I listen to you guys on my phone. That's how I'm doing this here.
Understood. Well, I think I do have some exclusive footage here. If you guys will just give me one moment. Now, you won't see this anywhere else. Just give me one momento. Now, I can't really say where I got this footage from. As you guys know, on Brayley's virtual tour, a lot of people, they know what we do over here. And so they trusted me with this video here. Give me one moment. I think I'm almost at it here. Hang on. Oh, come on, damn it. Okay, now I think I'm getting close. Okay. All right, you all. You are not going to see this anywhere else, okay? I want everybody to get that clear. If you're wondering why I'm off camera, I am eating, so I do not want to be eating on camera.
Yeah, I already did that once.
So, give me one moment here. All right, y'all. Exclusive footage. Okay, here we go. This is exclusive footage.
I'm drinking in Great Rivers of America now. Yay, yay.
Oh, you're not going to see that anywhere else.
Of America now. Yay, yay.
I don't know why he would jump in with full clothes on.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's Bob Iger, ladies and gentlemen. But
I saw him jump into the river myself when I was at Disney World back in May.
Well, there it is.
So yeah, there you go.
Exclusive footage, ladies and gentlemen. You won't get that anywhere else but here.
I
Okay.
provided footage.
But back to this. I love our damn show and our damn crew. But back to this. What you don't want to do is install something like this, where after you've announced it, people are automatically hating it, and they're hating it not because of what it is, but because of what it replaced. And sometimes people may be upset because of what it replaced based on sentimental value, but this was completely different because it was foundational. So you're replacing something foundational to put something in that may or may not work. If this does not work, then you will have the biggest L on your face that you guys have ever had. And will you be willing to be humble enough to go back to what you did? Right? Because at this point, how I see it, and you guys can let me know what you think about this, the Haunted Mansion is in this area, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wouldn't it make sense to have a Haunted Mansion Park or Gracie Park right there that could lead you into Villains Land?
You know, I have preference of keeping Rivers of America, or I'm just narrow-minded.
I absolutely feel you. And that would be my take too. I'm just saying, if they wanted to do anything with this, wouldn't Gracie Park have been a better option? Because at least, you know, story-wise, it would have connected it to Villains Land a lot better.
Yeah, hold on, wait a minute. I just recalled something. Now, I left a message to Ron, and he said, like, this was back in June or May or April even. You know, we all know Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That I had an idea of, like, let's incorporate, okay, they don't want to do Tom Sawyer Island, okay, let's make it National Treasure.
Mm-hmm.
And we can tie in that to Liberty Square, the Knights Templar.
Right.
And this is a show out of Nova Scotia, Canada, if you ever heard of it, called Oak Island.
Okay.
But it's a buried treasure that people have been searching for many, many years. It's kind of worth watching, or reading up about, because it's very interesting history. They've been looking for treasure for many years, and there is a curse attached to the treasure. You need 7 souls to have the treasure revealed.
Okay.
So it somehow ties to the mansion that way.
Okay, I think I can see what you're saying. Because it would it would blend it very well, because you think about how long ghosts have been around, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have these ancient ghosts, and there was, the Curse of the Black Pearl. I'm loosely using that, ladies and gentlemen, as a stepping stone here, because I think I see where Phil is going here.
Mm-hmm.
So you have historical ghosts that back in the day in the 1800s they existed. So there's this story, like you said, about these 7 souls, and these ghosts have been around, throughout different years, right? And throughout different generations. So now that story finally comes ahead to 2025, and Tom Sawyer Island has been taken over by these ghosts. But the gag is, as the people say, that these ghosts were around during the days of Tom Sawyer as well. So now you're blending Liberty Square with the historical nature of these ghosts and the treasure, along with the scary elements of the haunted mansion.
Yeah, you could use it that way. The caves are going to be more immersive. You're going to see probably shadows on the wall.
Right.
And definitely. Because I recall there was plenty of immersiveness inside the caves, like howling winds and...
Sure.
There wasn't any whispering, but if I play audio off of YouTube, every audio of Tom Sawyer Island's cave has some whispering or some audio track of like faint screams and whatnot.
Right.
Which is weird. I didn't hear that at Disney World at all, unless they turned it off long ago. So.
Right.
And this was back in May.
Understood. Well, shout out to Ronnie Bradley, who has gotten, I think he hit a subscriber milestone. I think WDW Pro also hit a subscriber milestone as well.
Oh, yeah.
So congratulations to both of them. And in addition to that, I think that that's a great perspective on that. And I do think there is some, there's some underutilized intellectual property that they're not using. So I think that was a great take that you just brought in. And also too, that, the National Treasure, right, along with the Haunted Mansion in that island, that haunted island could lead to Villains Land as well. So I can see that take as well. So very good.
Yeah, because we hear Knights Templar always mentioned a lot in National Treasure.
Right.
How many times we've heard that many of the founding fathers were Knights Templar?
True.
Many freaking times. And they designed Washington, D.C. with some symbolism of Masonic Templar imagery.
No, very, very good. Very, very good. Very, very good indeed. Thank you for that, Phil, for sure. Who are the high reps? High reps are the ones saying no to keep Rivers of America. And then, is this better than Encanto and Coco Town Village? Do you mean what Phil suggested, or do you mean Piston Peak?
Instead of Piston Peak.
Are we talking about the Beyond Thunder Mountain area?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the Tropical Americas, right?
No. What was in the beginning? Beginning was never cars.
Wait, say that one more time.
In the beginning, it was going to be Coco and Encanto.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. Because when you said Encanto, I immediately thought of Tropical Americas. So my bad. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I have to say that I think Encanto and Coco has more legs in terms of world building than Piston Peak. Because honestly, to tell you the truth, you might as well just make a Brother Bear Park at that point. I mean, honestly, if Yogi Bear came into the Disney family, hey, boo-boo, guess what? We have Jellystone Park at Walt Disney World now. Like that's how redundant this park is. Like, you can slap any intellectual property, make it themed to a, national park, and then be done with it. That's how lazy this is. And I say that very disrespectfully, Disney. So. Because the big thing is, how are you going to tie this back to the Cars franchise? I do think there was some airplane references, in Piston Peak, but it's almost like you would have to do a new digital series introducing this Ranger that no one has ever seen before. You know what I mean? So.
No, I'm laughing at what Florentine just commented.
Oh, yeah. I just saw 200-acre woods of Palms. You know what? Well, I am Winnie the Pooh's grandfather, and back in my day, there were honeypots. I was a drunkard or two on some honeypots. Now, my grandson Winnie the Pooh obviously has nicer conditions than his grandfather, because back then the tree was the tree. We didn't have trees with doors on them. You see.
Yeah. You know what's actually more funny? Just that he mentions that, I just recalled the black bears that went into the park back around 4 years ago.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. That's the Winnie the Pooh right there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So here's the comment here for everybody on the screen, and then Cars 4 Piston Peak. But would anybody want Cars 4 Piston Peak?
No.
Like, sincerely, I mean, and I get why Florentine is putting that up, because, like I said, you have to connect this to intellectual property somehow. So if they don't recognize this from any of the Cars movies or digital series or in the merchandise, then this is going to fall flat on its face.
Yeah, the peak of Piss Town, or what I like to call Pissing Creek.
Right.
Or Pissing In Creek.
I mean, when you look at Ray Ayer Springs Racers and you see that iconic sculpture, right? That was in the movie. So that made sense to bring that to real life. But with this, there wasn't, I don't think Piston Peak was in any Cars movie. I don't even remember Piston Peak from the first movie.
Yeah, I never watched the movie at all. Never have. Just only watched the Cars.
Cars, the first one?
No, I watched the Cars 1, watched Cars 2, and 3. And Cars 3, I tried to forget.
Understood.
Because Cars 3 were like.
Yeah, I know.
Go up here.
I know Cars 3 was a mixed bag. You know what I mean? But also too, hey Linnell Stiller, welcome and glad to have you here. Is the excuse to fit within Frontierland? Yeah, and that's what it is. And people can tell that it's a cheap excuse to fit within Frontierland. I will say this, I think no, go ahead.
It does not fit into Frontierland and trying to change the narrative.
Yes, no, for sure. And also, too, here's the thing. If you're going to think about Frontierland, wouldn't it make sense to kind of do, like, you know, the horse buggy and the buggy being able to talk? Like, that would be, like, pre-Cars if you're going to keep it into Frontierland. And that
might be a good idea. That's a cool idea.
And like I said, that's a bit of a stretch. But at least it makes sense within it. And with Cars 3, I will say this. I think Crystal, Miss Ramirez, I think it was nice that Lightning McQueen had to rely on someone younger to teach him how to be better. Because you think about that. Think about Doc Hudson and Lightning McQueen, right? And how Doc was Lightning McQueen's mentor. And so you have this young gun teaching Lightning McQueen. So it was a passing of the baton, and maybe they didn't do it the right way. But I will say at least Disney Pixar invested into Cars. They didn't just let it sit there. So while people may not like 3, at least they invested.
Yeah.
Because think about how many other films have not been invested in.
Yeah, and being that how, sorry, interrupt. I don't know how 3 is going to lead into 4, being that how 3 ended. So,
right. So I mean, you would have to look at 3, right, and then it would have to be maybe some, I don't know, maybe there's somebody that's trying to, take over the world and destroy nature, and so you have this,
Well, didn't they try to do that in number 2?
Yeah, I was just trying to think of some way to tie it in. Or you know what? Wait, scratch that, because I think you are right. Maybe, just maybe.
Number 2 was just practically that. Yeah.
I was about to say maybe, just maybe, there is Lightning McQueen's dad that, he was found in a national park, and then there's the race to get back to his son. Bit of a stretch, but you know what you can find in a park, in a forest sometimes. I mean, there are old cars that are, just there. So maybe that could be a way to bring in to Piston Peak, but still, who would be Lightning McQueen's dad's voice? Who would be his mom? Who would be his sister? So that could be new, but it has to be authentic. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And maybe, I just thought of it. Maybe Crystal Ramirez, the yellow car, maybe her parents come through. And, in a conversation, it's like, well, I never really knew my dad. And then we go to this national park called Piston Peak. And, oh, my God, I'm still alive. I got to go get my son. You know what I mean? So, something.
Floating, that is confusing.
Yes, that is true. Now what they said was that was going to be a part of Tiana, which was going to be a series on Disney Plus that was going to tie it into that. And because they didn't tie into that, it just became out the blue. There was a point in time where Disney could do rides that never really had any intellectual property, and you had to go to the park to see it. But now, because it's got to be a Disney 360 experience, they can't use that loophole like they used to. You know what I mean? So you don't even ride Lightning Not Vader. Absolutely. And you know what? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I think that's what they should have done. Is keep the Liberty Bell, but name it after Tiana's dad. I think that would have been really good to tie that into the ride. Like, you know, sometimes when I'm riding on, Otis, the Liberty Bell, the steam engine mode. When I'm riding Otis, I get to see, that, New Orleans, mountain and all that stuff. Like, that would have been a great way to tie that in. I definitely agree. So Disney, like I said, $60 million a year. My salary is 20, Phil's salary is 20, and Florentine salary is 20. So that's $60 million. We're available, but we have to have full creative control. And if you're asking why, just look at the last live we just did.
Yeah, exactly. I just had a thought. What if you can incorporate a riverboat to Port Orleans Resort and have a Piano's restaurant in there?
Yes. No, absolutely. I'm surprised.
Because they Port Orleans is all themed around halfway around Piano's Bayou already.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I'm surprised they haven't tried to do Tiana's Palace as a sit-down restaurant in there. I remember when we talked about, I think it was a long live. We talked about Pleasure Island and how there was going to be a restaurant off of Splash, the movie. And I'm just like, if they would have just stuck with Pleasure Island and being able to experience the pleasure of, the senses of being an adult, but also the senses of being a child. And I'm not talking about Never Everland, ladies and gentlemen, and Peter Pan. I'm talking about, imagine you being able to go to Tiana's Palace at Pleasure Island. Now, how does that relate to Pleasure Island? Well, first of all, there's the pleasure of, oh my God, there's this childhood movie that allowed me to see a Black princess for the kids. But then there's the pleasure of, oh my God, I have the pleasure of experiencing New Orleans. I've never been to New Orleans. So that would have been great to do that if Disney could have found the right, intellectual property in terms of different places from different Disney movies, combine it with real life. They could have kept Pleasure Island going. But, they're the smart ones. We're just on YouTube talking shit. That's just all we do, just.
Yeah. Since we're in Port Orleans already, remember I was trying to make concept ideas for Haunted Mansion Resort over there?
Yes.
What do you think of doing that?
No, I think that's a really good idea. I think the biggest thing whenever it comes to, expanding an idea or connecting the idea is making sure that and I'm saying this from a media producer point of view, not so much a theme park goer point of view, but it will relate to the theme park point of view in just a minute. If you are going to create a concept or link it to something, make sure that it is easy enough to understand for a consumer, but expansive enough where the theme park goer feels that they have value out of the experience. Now that's not easy to do because the mechanism of storytelling is you can't make the story too long where consumers will not want to come to that extension. But you can't make it too short where the theme park goer's like, is this all you got to give me? So it's a very fine line. Very fine line.
Yeah. Exactly. Speaking of which, I made a concept that long ago. and I never added to it. I just only got a nice, pretty low picture to go with it. So continue on with whatever we were just talking about.
Here we go, y'all. DSNY Newscast. Here we go.
Park environment of Piston Peak National Park is going to be within Frontierland there. Now, another interesting thing from these construction images is that the railroad tracks around the perimeter of Rivers of America, around the back of there, have also been completely removed. Now, the railroad remains open, but it's operating in shuttle mode from Main Street USA Station all the way up to Storybook Circus and back, and it's just shuttling guests back and forth on that side of the park. And the reason why Imagineering have most likely done this is because of the location of the laydown yards, which are fully under construction at the moment, as we can see in these images here. That the laydown yard around the backstage area of Tiana's Bayou Adventure and down around there, that has been completed, and we can see the Imagineering offices have already been constructed on site there, as we had permits filed for that. Imagineering.
Now, Disney, I'm not trying to be rude to you, but let me go back for a minute. Why would y'all put y'all shape of the offices in terms of an L? Why are y'all calling yourself losers from the sky? That's not right. Now, if y'all believe that about yourselves, y'all can say that. We'll agree with you. But y'all didn't have to put in the shape of an L and call yourselves losers. I mean, that's just disgusting behavior. I'm being facetious when I say that, everybody. Back to the video.
See, the Imagineering offices have already been constructed on site there, as we had permits filed for that Imagineering facility backstage there a few months ago. But the laydown yards are an important part of the construction process here, as what they're used for is a staging area to put all of the different construction vehicles and construction equipment and materials on a hardscape surface to keep the construction zone relatively clutter free. So that's the reason why these laydown yards are very important to getting the construction underway, because the other way they could do it is they could have gone in underneath the train track that had the bridge across the water backstage. They could have brought the construction equipment and materials in underneath there each time, and then they could have kept the railroad open. But I think Disney wanted to, really get going on this project in a bigger way. So they've lifted up the train tracks and they're getting construction equipment in there much faster. Now, the size of Villians Land is the next thing I want to talk about here, as I've previously measured it out as a
So right here, everybody, is going to be Villians Land. Now, I believe that all this, and Phil and Fullerton, y'all can let me know if I'm wrong, but I feel like this could be for expansion, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that soil right there, there's a map. You ever seen that map of the plan to develop the land to 2035 survey? Did you see the survey map? Okay,
yes,
they in very much detail, that land right there that you're just pointing at,
right here,
is kind of needs a little bit more extra work versus the land right beside the just south of where you're pointing your cursor at.
Okay.
That land right there is more, soggy, more, soft land south over by where they dock the boat.
Gotcha.
Maintenance. Yeah. But it could be doable. It take more time.
Yeah. And thank you for.
I mean,
no, go
it
ahead.
was all swamp at one time, anyways.
No, absolutely. And I'll only ask that because this is 11 acres here, and obviously, there's only so much you're gonna be able to do within 11 acres, right? And so if they wanted to make this Villians Land, I feel like this would be a more adequate Villians Land here with all this, because I feel like this is just a mini park, honestly, to tell you the truth. And then of course, because they're turning this into Piston Peak, then it's going to be awkward, because at least Big Thunder Mountain right here, there is a spirit of the mountain, because when it was the gold mine rush and strange things happened with Big Thunder Mountain, there's an element of scariness here that makes sense for this somewhat, but then you have this that makes this shit, essentially. But
yeah, you know what? Going back to what I just said earlier, the miners probably found some gold, you know, that was on my island, and that's somehow tied into the legend of the haunted mine on Big Thunder Mountain.
Good point. Good point, right?
Because it's like right between Haunted Mansion and Big Thunder Mountain.
Right.
So it could go both ways here.
Yes. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Approximately 11 acres of land, and that's including a little bit of space that's allocated backstage behind Haunted Mansion and It's a Small World up in that top right hand corner of the construction site there. I think that space there as well will also be allocated to Villains Land, and I'll explain the reason why in a minute. Because it's logistics, I think they'll need to have that space available.
What I wish I knew earlier in my weight loss journey, Huel. If I could go back and tell myself one thing, it's you don't need to overcompensate. Now,
I do want to bring up the land suitability maps that we've got here, as there was a really creepy...
This is the map that Phil was talking about, ladies and gentlemen, right here.
Improvement District map that was published a few years ago. That was for 2032, and it shows that this parcel of land for 10 acres is marked as marginally suitable. That means that they could use it if they wanted to, but they would need to do a lot of preliminary prep work on the actual land to get it ready and stable enough for active construction on that piece of land itself. And that's land grading and stability measures for the land, because obviously land in Florida is kind of susceptible to sinkholes and stuff like that, so they need to stabilize the land. So in 2032, that land is supposedly marginally unsuitable. But in 2045, in the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District land suitability map, that laydown yard that's north of Villains Land goes from marginally unsuitable to completely suitable. So there's 10 additional acres back there that they can access for a future expansion. And it just goes...
Okay, so... once again, DSNY Newscast and me are in sync. So by 2032, it's not suitable, but by 2045, which it's crazy to think that there's a year called 2045, that eventually this will become suitable. But the problem is, when that year comes, you have to think about, will this still be a popular intellectual property for people to want to go to? And will you expand this into Villains Land, or will this be another disjointed expansion? That's the real question.
Yeah, I'm pessimistic on it, and it's going to be part disappointed.
Understood.
Goes to show that this whole kind of removal of Rivers of America and losing the Tom Sawyer Island attraction and also the riverboat, they're gaining so much more in terms of a future play 10-15 years down the line, kind of longer term strategy for the future of Magic Kingdom to increase its capacity, as it is the most visited theme park, not just Disney park, theme park in the entire world. So they do need that kind of area for further expansion, and that's what we're looking at. By 2045, that 10 acres of land becomes suitable for construction. Now, next up, let's talk about the layout of Villains Land, as I want to say a special thanks to blogmickey.com for this find, as there's been a new environmental resource permit that was filed with the South Florida Water Management District. And yeah, this sounds very boring and snoozeworthy, but it's actually very important, as it shows the stormwater management and the drainage for this very large expansion area. But the interesting thing about this permit is it doesn't just outline the 15 acres of Rivers of America, but the project scope for the stormwater drainage system that it's going to facilitate is going to be for 33 acres of land And so that doesn't mean that Villains Land and Cars is going to be 33 acres, but it's very interesting to see that Disney are putting the work in right now to, future-proof the area 33 acres worth, an additional 18 acres beyond the 15 acres that we reckon Villains Land and Cars will be within the Magic Kingdom for future expansion. But what's even more important about this permit is that we've got the drainage lines themselves from this permit. And Mike over at Blog Mickey makes a very good point about these drainage lines, as oftentimes stormwater drainage systems need to be kind of easily accessible. So they are oftentimes aligned sort of with walkways within the park, so therefore you can easily get access to them. They don't often go underneath attraction show buildings, or at least big attraction show buildings. So if we think about it from that perspective with these drainage lines, it seems as if we're looking at a rough layout of what we can know will be walkable areas within Villains Land, and which areas will probably be where the buildings will be located or attractions will be located. So let's look at the possible attraction sizes and layout here. And first of all, I want to talk about that top right hand corner behind Haunted Mansion and It's a Small World back there. As in that location, you can see that the drainage line just kind of stops, and it probably stops there because I reckon there'll be a massive attraction show building in that location. So the size of this show building, you could probably go up to around 85,000 square feet for an attraction show building in that location, which, to put that into context, that's roughly around the same sort of size as Pirates of the Caribbean at the Magic Kingdom. So it's a very sizable building that they could probably build back there. And the reason why I think the attraction show building would need to be in that corner is because it's then got direct backstage access to the backstage of Magic Kingdom, and for any kind of show building like that, they do need direct emergency access to the building as well for safety and emergency protocols. So I think that's where the building will go if there's going to be a big attraction show building here. And in terms of what this attraction could be, it could be either an e-ticket dark ride, like a boat ride. That's what I personally would think would work really well within Villains Land. It's a high capacity boat ride. And
wait a minute, hang on a second. Could that boat ride be the potential return of Snow White Scary Adventures? Instead of a track system where you're going, in a buggy, could you go through the forest like Pirates of the Caribbean? Because that is one ride that a lot of people really missed. And I know La Renee Creole, she really misses that ride. So imagine if Snow White Scary Adventures came back in that 85,000 square foot show building.
Yeah, I made a concept for Tangled to go place where Snow White was just a few weeks ago.
Gotcha.
I could share that live too.
Yeah, no, go right ahead. And like I said, y'all, these are just all predictions that we're given. Nothing is concrete. What I just said was one idea of many. I'm sure Phil and Fullerton have their ideas of what they could do with 85,000 square feet. But just know this, whatever is going to go into that 85,000 square feet will be a premier Lightning Lane attraction. I remember when it was just a Disney Fast Pass attraction and everybody was happy. You'd have had to pay all this extra shit, but that's neither here nor there, but it's a very important point. But either way, it's definitely going to be a dominant villain ride. Like, it's going to be a prominent villain that, okay, this is Jafar's ride or this is Scar's ride. Something that I'm thinking for sit-down restaurant, and I remember saying this on Resort Recon with La Renee Creole, and she got immediately excited when I brought up Disney's House of Mouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what House of Mouse is, I need to check your childhood and see if you had one, respectfully and disrespectfully, because that was one of the biggest cartoons on Toon Disney, where it was basically a sit-down restaurant in Toontown where you got to see, new cartoons / old throwback cartoons, and Jafar and Maleficent, they became a couple on that show, essentially. And that's where Disney villains and heroes gather to eat, talk, and relate. So could there be a house of villains inside that 5,000 square foot show building? Now, of course, a show building does not just have to be for a ride, but it can be for an attraction as well. There's a lot of possibilities with that 5,000 square feet.
Let me see. I got it to work.
Okay, it's coming up here.
See it on my end.
Yes,
I'm clicking on my link here.
Yes, I have it on my.
That link works.
Okay.
And it seems like whenever I send it on my phone, it works.
Okay.
Versus the Windows computer, I don't know what's going on.
Gotcha. So I do have it up here for Phil's Tangle ride. Before that, what do you think of what I'm saying, Phil and Florence? Do y'all think that that's a good train of logic, that whatever that 5,000 square foot building is going to be is definitely going to be either an attraction that will be a dominant villain, or it could be something like House of Villains, something that could be a sit-down restaurant or a walk-through experience? Because if y'all remember, for the Haunted Mansion, it was going to be called, in the words of Ronnie Crump, who rest in peace to him, great Imagineer, great individual, great just genius of mind. He said it was going to be called the Museum of the Weird. It was going to be a walkthrough attraction. So what do y'all think of that train of logic?
Okay.
No, I'm asking for y'all take. What do y'all think of that train of logic? Does that make sense? What do y'all have a different take on what that 5,000 square foot building could be?
Not at the moment. I kind of wish that Florentine was connected to the audio right now.
Gotcha. Well, let me pull this up here. So this is for the former Snow White Scary Adventure space.
Okay. Florentine did answer. Never mind. I think there's going to be a giant dark ride, and each room is a different villain's particular world.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Florentine's got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And honestly, I think that could be like an ultimate Disney villain's house. Each person has their own room and all that stuff. You go into Corella's room of the ride, and it's all fashion, and then you go to Mother Gothel, and it's this magical hair shop where the hair is really not that magical. It is, but she's got to have your energy to get it. Like, I could imagine that for sure there. Very well said there.
Florentine and I were joking when we were discussing Villains Land that the villains have been looking for their own little theme park since taking over the House of Mouse.
Yes.
That one short movie ago.
Yes.
And they've been just like, dang it, we lost the House of Mouse. We need a theme park.
Yes. And also, too, I want to give a shout out to Ridley Pearson, The Kingdom Keepers. If you have not read that book series, I suggest you do get book one and just go from there. It is a wonderful time. Ridley Pearson had unfettered access to get into the Disney parks after dark, and he brings you into Disney Unlike any other offer I have ever seen, heard, or read since. There is nobody like Ridley Pearson. So shout out to that great man there. So here's the ride here from Phil Rapunzel's Lantern Festival.
Yeah, this ride will occupy what used to be Snow White's Scary Adventures, currently being taken over by the Princess's meet and greet.
Understood. So Rapunzel's Lantern Festival, the ride system is an Omni Mover or classic dark ride car on a floor level track. The small ride vehicles enhance the intimate, up close nature of the scenes. Theme and focus, the ride focuses on Rapunzel's emotional journey to the kingdom and the iconic Lantern Festival. It emphasizes color, light projection, mapping, music, and connect figures over large scale scary scenes. So the queue is the tower shadow. The queue winds through the exterior of an ornate moss-covered tower, re-theming the castle adjacent facade. Sounds of a waterfall, birds chirping, Rapunzel singing, gently drift through the air. And then the walls feature murals painted by Rapunzel depicting scenes of her life, and you can see a glimpse of her hair peeking out of a high window. Low station, the docks, the loading area rather, is themed as a small rustic dockside landing where the ride vehicles resemble small wooden rowboats. Audio gentle and lyrical orchestral music plays. Scene 1, the snugly duckling hideout. The vehicle immediately enters the dark, low ceiled interior of the Snuggly Duckling pub. Focus is a connect tableau of the reformed thugs singing "I've Got a Dream" for Rider, and detailed audio animatronic is front and center with his smolder. Large backdrop behind the thugs features a vibrant painted mountain landscape using forced perspective to make the space feel bigger. Scene 2, Mother Gothel's warning: a moment of darkness. The atmosphere shifts to a tense dark forest path. This scene uses the low ceiling nature of the former Snow White ride to create a feeling of claustrophobia. A closed Mother Gothel figure appears suddenly from the shadow. She whispers her warning to Rapunzel: "Don't you ever ask to leave this tower again." A simple Pepper's ghost effect can be used to make her figure flicker or dissipate quickly, emphasizing her manipulated presence. Scene 3, Floating Lights. The climax. Boat turns a corner into the grand finale space, a central room where the ceiling height has been maximized to simulate an open night sky. The boat seems to be floating on a dark, reflective water. Dark track floor with light effects. Dozens of lanterns float above and around the vehicles. These are created using a combination of practical hanging light fixtures and projection mapping onto translucent scrims, giving the illusion of countless soft glowing lights. Detailed Rapunzel and Flynn audio animatronics sit side by side in a small boat. Rapunzel holds her glowing lantern up. The iconic song, "I See the Light Swells," a powerful, warm, and orange and gold light washes over the entire scene, creating a truly moving and breathtaking moment of beauty and romance. Scene 4. The kingdom's embrace. The boat strips past a vibrant, brightly lit fountain pool. The figures of the king and queen are visible, gazing toward a painting of the flowing lanterns. A massive, colorful banner hangs declaring the princess has returned. Rapunzel's bright, short brown hair and a bright yellow dress are seen in a mural depicting her happy ending. And then the boat returns to the dock area. Audio, a lively, festive instrumental of tangled music plays celebrating the new happy ending. I would ride that. That sounds like a good ride. I would definitely ride that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it fits with this Fantasyland just not perfectly. Perfect dark ride.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. A great job. Let's finish this out here, and then we'll get final thoughts on this. And then we have Offhand Disney, who will give us some commentary as well here. Okay, here we go.
I'd theme it to Hades and River Styx and have other villains showcased within River Styx maybe, and have that kind of be the narrative for the ride itself.
Wait a minute. DSNY Newscast has been listening to us apparently, because this is what Florian literally just said. I think there's going to be a giant dark ride, and each room is a different villain's particular world, which is basically what DSNY Newscast just said about Hades, place here, and each thing of, Hades having a different villain in some shape or form. So, wow, okay then.
Potentially it could be a trackless ride system, and there isn't a trackless ride system at the Magic Kingdom, so potentially they could be using that for this attraction. Or it could be possibly a ride like Avengers Infinity Defense that we're seeing them build over in California. They could be using something like that, and they use for Peter Pan over in Tokyo's Fantasy Springs expansion. It could be a mix of different things, but that's where I reckon a massive attraction show building will be located. And the reason for that is sightline wise as well. The only place where I think that you'd really be able to see this building is right next to Sir Mickey's over there, on that corner, looking straight across near Pinocchio's village house. I think in that direction you might be able to see the back of the building, but you'd have to be exactly at the right angle to see it.
Now serving some fresh beats!
Or obviously at the top of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, you'll most likely be able to see it from the top of there as well. And then we've also got to think about the shopping and dining within the land, and I think that that will be located over on the left hand side of Villains Land, over in this section next to Big Thunder Mountain. And the reason for that is because you've got more than enough room the other side of the drainage line there, where you could get maybe a 25,000 to 35,000 square foot dining location. Now, to put this into context, Be Our Guest over in New Fantasyland is around 25,000 square feet for that dining location, so you get a fairly sizable dining location in that location there, and also include maybe even a quick service restaurant as well down that side as kind of a street aspect there. And you've got direct backstage access underneath the train tracks, as you've seen previously with the bridge that goes across there. I think the elevation level for the train tracks will remain the same, and I think you can get the food materials in and out backstage underneath the train tracks fairly simply there to restock the table service dining location and a quick service in that location without requiring to go through the central part of the land. And then you've got shops and other smaller dining locations, and they can be restocked, overnight or early morning before the park opens, and usually they're okay throughout the day. So that's how I think the layout of this land would be. So I think, as you can see here, I think there's going to be a walkway that kind of comes straight up the left hand side and winds around and kind of walks up near the train track and then towards the attraction show building. And then I also think that there might be a railroad station within Villains Land, as it'd be a great way to get a second entrance point for this land to get guests back there quicker in the morning to go on these rides. Now, the one thing we haven't spoken about is a villains themed roller coaster. Now, within the artwork that we've all seen, there is very much a villains roller coaster of some sort. So whether it's Maleficent themed or just villains themed, it's a roller coaster within the land. And I think this roller coaster is going to be within this large location here, off to the side. As you can see here, this is just an example of the Spider-Man themed roller coaster from Shanghai Disneyland, from the permit that we saw earlier this year, in that same location there to scale within Villains Land. And it just goes to show that you can fit a fairly sizable roller coaster in that location. Now, I actually think this roller coaster is going to traverse more of Villains Land than just stick to a location by itself. I think this roller coaster is going to go over guest spaces, and it's going to kind of wind around the rooftops and kind of sweep in and out. It's really going to bring a kineticism to Villains Land, and a dragon roller coaster, kind of like Maleficent's dragon, sweeping around the top of the rooftops. I think that'd be fantastic. And personally, I think a suspended roller coaster system like we're going to be getting with Monsters Inc. over at Disney's Hollywood Studios would be a great way of having a new type of roller coaster system at Magic Kingdom. And then if you have the roller coaster go overhead, you can also have a pathway that goes underneath the roller coaster and have a loop around Villains Land instead of it being a dead end. So I think if I'm designing this Villains Land, and I've got from these past 8 years on this channel seeing the way that Imagineering design various theme park lands, I think this would make a lot of sense for the design here. Obviously all of this is just speculation at this current time, but you could fit a very sizable roller coaster within that land there and get an experience that would really add a lot of energy to the actual land itself, with a dark ride in the corner there as well. So that's everything that I want to talk about today in terms of Villains Land. Obviously we're waiting to see more permits get filed, like we saw with Monsters Inc.'s Door Coaster over at Hollywood Studios. So we'll see whether my predictions here and the speculation for the layout of Villains Land proves to be somewhat right fairly soon, probably. But that's everything that we can talk about with Villains Land today. But now it's over to you, Waltoneers, as I would like to know, what are your thoughts and opinions on Villains Land, and what would you like to see from the attractions within Villains Land? So leave your thoughts and suggestions down below in the comment section, and be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'd also like to say a special thanks to the official Waltoneer Club over on Patreon for always supporting these videos. It's greatly appreciated. And I'd also like to say a special thanks to the official Waltoneer Gold members that you can see here on the screen right now, as well as official Waltoneer Diamond members JC Russell, Justin Tupper, Tim Parsons, and Noah Anderson. And with that being said for today, I've been Jack, you've been you, and I'll see you real soon.
Well, that was a very informative video.
Hey guys, are you still there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what did you
Yeah,
guys think?
I went on to think about like concept ideas for one of the rides that we're going to just like redo or just demolish the whole entire Life Pavilion in Epcot and rebuild it even better.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's what I'm doing here.
Okay.
But since you're back, I'm reverting the attention back to the show.
Okay. I didn't see
Because
nothing.
we're going to be doing something with you on that majorly soon.
Right. Yeah, I didn't see nothing too crazy with DSNY Newscast. I think all his predictions have been right on point.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So I think there's one more video of I think Offhand Disney, and then that should be about it, I think. So here's this here. There we go.
We love our Disney villains, right? We love them. Their evil ambition gives us endless possibilities to tell brand new stories. Which is why I am so excited to announce we are building a villain's land at the Magic Kingdom.
That was almost a year ago, and that's the only real information we've gotten on Villains Land since D23 Expo 2024. And now, we're moving forward. Land clearing has begun, preliminary steps are being taken to get that back half of the Rivers of America, the former Rivers of America, ready for this brand new Villains Land. Construction might start within the next year here, maybe sooner? I don't know how construction works. That's me confiding in you. And while, as of right now, we don't really have any maps or any sort of plans, visible to us at least, of what is going where, what sort of attractions we can expect, or what sort of restaurants, what sort of entertainment, what the whole land is going to be, how it's going to be laid out. That's not really out there for the public yet. And so, in today's video, I figured why not use our imaginations a little bit. Now, while this is sort of blue sky, it's what I want in a Villain's Land, I'm going to try and keep it as realistic as possible, as grounded in reality as I can. So it's not going to be a super fantastical vision of what a Villain's Land could be. This is what I think is a very realistic expectation of what the Villain's Land will be. It won't be 18 different attractions with a Rise of the Resistance tier dark ride and a roller coaster and a dinner show, maybe even 3 bathrooms. Bathrooms are important. This is going to be as realistic as I can possibly make it. Maybe not down to the layout, but certainly down to the amenities and the attractions and what we could find inside of those attractions. Because let's be honest here, the Maleficent coaster is going to be half indoor, half outdoor. It's pretty obvious that's how Disney likes to tackle their roller coasters mostly nowadays. Tron goes outside. I like a good outdoor coaster. It gives the land some kinetic energy, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We're not talking about the coaster quite yet. Before I talk about entrances or pathways or restaurants, we need to lay down a few ground rules. A few rules that we need to follow all the way through the video to make this land as realistic as possible. Now before we start, we gotta lay some ground rules. Disney has already confirmed that there will be shopping and dining in this land, because what would a Disneyland be without shopping and dining? You need those shops and you need those restaurants. Also the restrooms, don't forget those restrooms. That's actually very, very important when it comes to theme park design. But the land will also have confirmed 2 major attractions, all right? That's 2 major attractions. I'm assuming they mean e-ticket. And just by looking at the concept art that we have now, one of them is going to be a roller coaster, potentially a Maleficent themed roller coaster. Now, while it is a Villain's Land, the roller coaster might not just be Maleficent themed, it might be more than one villain, but we do see the dragon version of Maleficent there in the background, and the thorns acting as the sort of track for the coaster. The thick sort of black briars that Maleficent conjures in the film. So we do have to incorporate this Maleficent villain's roller coaster into our plans somehow. The second rule is that it has to connect all the way around the Rivers of America America back to the Haunted Mansion. Now, it hasn't really been confirmed anywhere that that is what's going to happen, that's going to be the case, but for a lot of guests, half of the appeal of this brand new state-of-the-art Villains Land is that you will finally be able to walk all the way around Magic Kingdom without having to turn around at some point, reaching the end of a pathway. That used to be a problem at Big Thunder Mountain. You could follow the pathway from anywhere in the park. It all connects until you get to the end of Frontierland at Big Thunder Mountain. You'd have to turn completely around and walk the other direction. It's not really a big problem at Disneyland. If you were to sort of overlay Disneyland on a map of the Magic Kingdom, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland is sort of where they're planning on building the Villains Land. And that loops all the way from Bayou Country back to Fantasyland and Frontierland. So you can keep going, you can walk in circles all day if you want to. That's going to be the case with Villains Land, so it has to connect. So the rules for this video are: 1. Include the Maleficent roller coaster and one other major attraction. 2. Have the land layout make sense in a theme park crowd flow sort of way. 3. Make sure it connects all the way back around Piston Peak, formerly the Rivers of America, to the Haunted Mansion. And 4. Try not to go overboard. While Armchair Imagineering is really fun to do, I don't want to go too big with this. I want to be as realistic with my predictions or sort of layout for this land as I possibly can be. We're not going to do 2 major attractions and 14 smaller attractions. You gotta have maybe 2 majors and 1 minor attraction. You know, that sort of thing. Now first, we want to get an idea of how large this land is going to be. Where exactly along the Rivers of America is it going to be located? And we have a few permits that'll give us some clues as to where this land is going to go specifically, but I also have to say thank you. I have to reach out to my friend Jack at DSNY Newscast. If you haven't subscribed to DSNY Newscast, please do so now. Jack has previously pored over all of these permits and has a sort of better idea, definitely better than I would, of where this Villains Land is going to be in relation to where the rivers are now and where the Cars expansion to Frontierland is going to be. I'm going to make a sort of work in progress map of where I think Villains Land is going to be located by looking at these 2 different sources, but you can also use your imagination here. It can go wherever you want to, as long as it's back beyond Big Thunder Mountain. Beyond Big Thunder Mountain is the most important part of this. So let's take an aerial view of the land we're going to be talking about in this video, and some of the already existing landmarks to sort of better orient where we are. Big Thunder Mountain being located here, the Haunted Mansion located here, and the railroad that encircles both of them located here. Now let's map out Piston Peak, the Cars expansion coming to Frontierland. That will be the front half of the Magic Kingdom expansion, backing up currently to what we know as Frontierland, the single street that Frontierland is at Walt Disney World. Not quite the same at Disneyland, but it's still good. Okay, the Country Bear Show is great. And by looking at the only sort of really detailed piece of concept art for Piston Peak that we have as of right now, the pathway around Piston Peak seems to sort of veer off back toward the Haunted Mansion and then further out, most likely towards Villains Land, a little bit before where the Rivers of America curved back when they were open, so about 3/4 of the way along Big Thunder Mountain. Not necessarily past the mountain itself, but a little bit before that. So based on that, here is my proposed map of where Piston Peak would be located and, more importantly, where it would end, including that sort of loop around back to the Haunted Mansion and the pathway to the Villains Land up there at the top, freeing up potentially, if they don't want to dig beyond the berm, all of this space right here as land for the Villains expansion, and that's quite a sizable plot of land. Now take in mind you have to account for backstage entry for cast and restaurant loading and unloading, gift shop loading and unloading, which makes me think it won't connect back through to Fantasyland, even though it's very close to the Village House right here in this little sort of area. It is a lot of maintenance back there that you can't really move for restaurants like Be Our Guest and Gaston's. So while it would be cool if it connected all the way back through Fantasyland, I don't think that it's going to. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. Everything you see highlighted in green here is not usable theme park space. We're going to have to fit the usable park space within that. And that means, of course, 2 attractions, 2 e-ticket attractions. Now, looking at the concept art as a clue in this is almost completely pointless. There's not really any visible pathways. You see some guests in the the background here and here, but that doesn't really connect back to that walkway we saw coming from Piston Peak past the Haunted Mansion. It doesn't make sense. This is definitely blue sky. This does not represent the final layout of the land at all. But that being said, I do think they want a vista of the land, one of the views of the land, to be very reminiscent of this, with the Maleficent roller coaster and her castle in the same sort of field of view to give that grand sort of reveal to the Villains Land. And if I had to guess, the way most people will be entering this land, I think it will be from the Haunted Mansion side, from Fantasyland, and not from the Big Thunder Mountain side. While I love Adventureland and I like Walt Disney World's Pirates of the Caribbean, I think the Fantasyland area of Magic Kingdom, and then back toward Liberty Square, sees a lot more guest flow over the course of a day than Adventureland back through Big Thunder Mountain does. So maybe this main vista will be coming into Villains Land from the Haunted Mansion, with the coaster on our left-hand side being closer to Big Thunder Mountain and the castle being set further back into the land. So here? Maybe here? Then we'll have the sort of dark villains village located on our right-hand side when we enter the land from the Haunted Mansion. So think gift shops, think restaurants. That's where all of these guests are located. Again, the pathways don't make any sense. Pay no attention to the pathways. So as the world's #1 fan of looping pathways, I think our main thoroughfare, the main pathway through Villains Land where most of the guest foot traffic is going to be seen, might look something like this. A big horseshoe. Now don't worry, it's not going to be just this. There will be other paths leading off to attractions, shops, dining, and most importantly, restrooms. This is just going to be the biggest of them, and it's going to be where you get from point A to point B in Villains Land. I'm going to simplify the path a little bit, just make it look like this so it's not completely taking up like a third of the land, and now we get to talk about the fun stuff. Now let's talk about the Maleficent roller coaster for a second. I think it's going to be, in my opinion, a hybrid coaster, an indoor-outdoor coaster. It might not have a giant gravity building like Cosmic Rewind or Rock and Roller Coaster have, but it will go through some tunnels, through some show scenes similar to Big Thunder Mountain right next door, or Expedition Everest at Animal Kingdom. Now Expedition Everest is 6.5 acres. That's pretty big. Big Thunder Mountain, though, on the other hand, is 2.5. So I think it's going to be around a similar size to Big Thunder Mountain, because 6.5 acres is about half the land. That's a lot of room. 2.5 is a lot more realistic. And yes, of course, the Maleficent Castle is going to be the weenie for the land. It's going to be the icon, but it's also going to be the entrance or the queue for this roller coaster. So you can go through Maleficent's castle. It'll be cool to see the goons. The goons will be in there. Maybe the Corridor of Goons from Disneyland will make a reappearance at Walt Disney World for the very first time, and all my Florida friends can experience the Corridor of Goons. But think 2.5 acres, think a hybrid indoor-outdoor coaster, not a huge box show building like you see with Cosmic Rewind. Don't worry about that. So let's move a roller coaster that's a similar size to what we're looking for, Big Thunder Mountain, into Villains Land and see how that stacks up. And if we rotate it a little bit just to get it fitting into the land, you know, alongside the railroad, I think it works. I don't think it's too big. It takes up most of the left-hand side of the land, yes, but it works. I outlined Big Thunder Mountain, took an average of that area and just made it into a big circle and then sort of reshaped it a little bit to make it take up a little bit less of the total landmass and have the coaster extend a little bit towards Big Thunder Mountain, and was left with this. I think this is a bit more of an agreeable size for a roller coaster without taking up too much of the land. It's still around 2 to 2.5 acres, and it's on your left-hand side on the way to Big Thunder Mountain looking at this piece of concept art. It still sort of echoes this. Again, it's not perfect, but it's close. Which would mean, by the way, my friends, that the castle/queue/facade for the ride would go about here. And then, of course, you'd need another walkway, another main thoroughfare leading up to Maleficent's castle to, you know, get in line for the coaster. And so I devised this bad boy. Look at that, I'm a pro construction planning consultant. Nobody can do what I do. But that pathway will also lead us into a sort of secondary area of Villains Land, or a primary area, depending on which part you prefer, the Villains Village. Nah, it doesn't work. It's already the word. Now, the Village will be your premier destination for all of your shopping and dining needs, as well as the gateway, or the beginning of the queue, I should say, to the second e-ticket ride. We'll get to that in a second, but I'm hoping there's more than one dining location in this land. I think 2 quick service and 1 table service is the magic combination. That way you have 2 restaurants for people who don't necessarily want to sit down and make a reservation, and 1 for those who really want to, who want to compete for that reservation at 6 a.m. And so up at the top in this little outcropping, I guess, we'd have a dining location very similar in size to Be Our Guest, right across the way in Fantasyland, and then down at the bottom, quick service number 1 and quick service number 2. Hopefully one of these is serving meat skewers and meat on sticks like Bengal barbecue. Disney World doesn't have enough of that. Call it Scars Skewers or something.
Well, I mean, if you think about Dark Universe and what they've done with villains and food, it's game over. So if Disney somehow is able to elevate the food with Villains Land, I think they'll be fine. The biggest thing with this is Disney wants to see fat meat be greasy. And you cannot play to the mainstream audience. You have to play to your audience and their stream. Because if you try to get everybody back with this, it's going to take a lot more for the mainstream audience to want to come back to you than your own crowd.
Yeah, that's kind of funny that Scars Skewers that.
Yes.
I made it like a concept building for Scars Barbecue.
Yes.
That's fake.
I can see that though. Yes.
Continue.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
Something. He's a villain. And do you remember the Beacon Barrel? Do you all know about the Beacon Barrel? I'm sure you've heard of it. Listen, folks, I know some people are against bars at Disneyland or the Magic Kingdom, but it's time to face facts, okay? Themed bars that sell alcohol make a lot of money. That, and they're also really, really cool. Oga's Cantina at Disneyland is awesome, okay? And Beacon Barrel looks like it's going to be amazing. And what better bar would there be than a seedy, gross old tavern where all the villains gather together to tell their stories, and each of the villains has their own sort of themed room. I don't want to say the Poison Apple from Shrek 2, but I'm also saying the Poison Apple from Shrek 2. That's what I'm thinking in my head. So yes, whether you like it or not, there's going to be a Villains Tavern in the Village. The Villains Village. That's, I'm just going to keep calling it the Village. And of course, this is a Disney park. You can't have dining without a little bit of shopping. Now, I made a little dining row right here, similar to the stores on Main Street USA, how they do look like different buildings from the outside, but once you go inside, it's all one sort of big building. This is what that's going to look like. This probably won't be the only shopping location in the land. Obviously, you gotta have a gift shop at the end of the roller coaster and at the end of the dark ride that we're going to talk about here in a second, but this is the main shopping destination. If you don't want to go on any rides or go to any specialty places, this is going to have the bulk of your merchandise. Now, okay, let's get to the ride. I'm just going to say right now, right up front, that I don't have any insider information. This isn't a rumor. This is just armchair Imagineering. This is all coming from my brain. But if I predict this correctly, and I think I actually might, there's a chance that I'm completely on the money here, I will collect payment just through my Patreon. Disney, if you just want to pledge $1 a month, you can do that. But the second attraction in Villains Land, aside from the roller coaster, Disney confirmed there would be a second attraction. I believe is going to be a dark ride, like Rise of the Resistance, or maybe the new Coco dark ride that they're building. Maybe not necessarily a boat ride, but think trackless. Maybe some sort of hybrid ride system. We don't know that much quite yet. We're not quite there. But what we do know, or what I know, is that this ride will feature a lot of villains. Not just one villain like the Maleficent roller coaster. It's not going to be Gaston themed, or Hades themed, or Scar themed, or Queen of Hearts themed. It's going to be all of the villains. All of them are going to get together, use their abilities, use their power to try and turn maybe all of the Magic Kingdom into a dark, twisted land just like Villains Land. And it will be up to us and a certain wizard to stop them. I don't know if the wizard is going to tie into it, but let's talk about this now, because I'm pretty sure I'm right with this one. What else could they do?
I don't have time for bullshit, so I use a no bullshit pen. I am Chef Sam Talbot. I've been cooking for 37 years.
So obviously not every Disney villain is going to get their own ride. So some of the villains have to share a ride, and by some I mean all of them except for Maleficent, the mistress of all evil. If I had to choose one Disney villain to get her own ride, it would be Maleficent. But this dark ride is going to be a sort of mashup of all of the Disney villains together. And I think the queue, the entrance, the facade will all be located in the Villains Village area. I don't know what the facade would be. I think maybe like a broken down old church would be really, really cool with like an old bell tolling from the steeple up top. That would be really, really cool. Maybe we secretly discover one of the villains' hideout. Either way, it doesn't matter. We enter the queue and wind our way through the tunnels underneath the village and underneath the entirety of the Magic Kingdom, not the utilidors, but just, you know, underground tunnels, sewers kind of things. Hopefully it doesn't smell as bad as the utilidors smell in some spots. Before we arrive at the pre-show and the villains tell us their plan, and we need someone, something, some character to guide us through this mission of stopping the villains, I think the wizard from The Sorcerer's Apprentice from Fantasia, Yen Sid, would be a very, very good sort of mentor figure for this ride.
And not to mention too, you think of Epic Mickey with the Blot. Now I don't know if they would bring the Blot in as a villain, because I do believe Wasteland could be its own separate land. But Yen Sid is also part of Epic Mickey. Wanted to bring that up. Go ahead, Phil, with what you were going to say.
Yeah, I just said like Yen Sid would be really cool mentoring. Yeah. I just thought, since he mentioned church, we can say that the church is Claude Frollo's church.
Right.
You know, that, you know, Disney villain from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm. No, facts. Absolutely. Absolutely.
If the villains are using the power of dark magic to twist...
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
He's represented that way.
Right. Absolutely. All right, here we go, y'all.
And pervert the Magic Kingdom, why can't Yen Sid and we, the guests, use our light magic to help fix this problem and drive the villains back into their own corner, to contain them in the villains' land? I think the odds of an attraction in this vein, maybe not with Yen Sid, but with all of the villains coming together to do something bad, is almost guaranteed. Now, as for ride type, you know me. If you're watching this channel, maybe you don't. I love a good boat ride, and if we're going through the tunnels underneath the village, and maybe even the sewers that don't smell too bad, that would be a very thematically appropriate setting for a boat ride. You know, you climb into some sort of like Charon-style barge that begins moving on its own through the power of Yen Sid's magic, and the ride begins. However, I know not everybody loves a boat ride. Those people would be crazy. They're high capacity and they smell so good. I think maybe a trackless ride vehicle might be more in the realm of possibility. Disney loves building these trackless rides nowadays, so maybe a trackless sort of conveyance thing that still moves through the power of Yen Sid's magic, or maybe our magic. Maybe it was within us the whole time, or maybe it's just sensors embedded into the ground. But either way, that would be a nice thematically appropriate ride vehicle also. I think these are kind of the only two that I would like. An Omnimover is always fun, but I don't know how effective it would be. And of course, we already have a roller coaster. We don't need another thrill ride. Maybe we could do a slot car ride. I could settle for that because Test Track does speed up and slow down. So maybe if they wanted some high speed segments in their ride, they could do a slot car style, but ideally it's going to be a boat or a trackless dark ride, and it's gotta have some animatronics. It's gotta have a Disney villain animatronic, one for each of the villains. And so zooming in on the village, you can see that the facade, the entrance, and the queue take up only a small part of the land, where the show building behind it is a lot bigger. Actually, I think it's a little bit bigger than the Haunted Mansion. You can see here the Haunted Mansion on the left, and It's a Small World unlabeled on the right. And then if I were to zoom out, you can see that it's a very similarly sized show building. So you could fit a similar sized ride to the Haunted Mansion or Small World. Small World, of course, is a boat ride, just saying. And that about fills out our Villains Land. There is one thing that is still bothering me though, and it's this area right here. I don't know what I'm gonna put there. Food carts are a possibility, you know, snack carts, but Disney said 2 major attractions. They never said 2 attractions total, and the kids need something to do in this terrifying Villains Land also, so why not a couple of flat rides? Something to add a bit more kinetic energy to the Villains Land. Even though the roller coaster does go outside, you can never have enough kinetic energy. Maybe this could be the loading area for some sort of people moving type attraction that would give you bird's eye views of the Villains Land, taking you through the roller coaster, through some of the queues, and through the Villains Village. Maybe, just maybe, my friends, Villains Land needs its own people mover. And then, of course, you can put a spinner ride in there for the children, for the flat ride fans. Now, I'm hearing you already in the comments. Disney World gets 2 people movers now, while Disneyland doesn't even have one? Listen, I agree. Disney World doesn't need another people mover. However, I will accept another Disneyland people mover. That's okay by me. Now, does my people mover track look like I just threw spaghetti at my screen and then traced around it? Yes, I'm sure the Disney Imagineers, if they wanted to, which they should want to, were to make their own variation of a Villains Land people mover, it would look a whole lot more symmetrical and a lot cleaner than this, but I did want to sort of make it go through all of the big show scenes and the set pieces in the land. Now, there are a few more empty spots not filled out on this map. You have to account for backstage areas, obviously, but maybe you can add 1 or 2 sort of smaller attractions to this land. I want to hear some opinions and thoughts as to what it should be and where you would put it on my map. Not on the actual site plan that's sort of been revealed, but on my map. My wonderful, beautiful Microsoft Paint map. Look at it, it's gorgeous. Now, a lot of the Villains Land is still sort of up in the air. I'm sure even at Imagineering right now, they're still sort of nailing down what exactly they want in this land, sort of finalizing the plans before they actually start building it, probably within the next 2 years. So Disney doesn't even know what's going there quite yet, aside from what they actually have shown, and that's the roller coaster. There's going to be a Maleficent roller coaster, maybe not even Maleficent. There will be a roller coaster, but other than that, nobody really knows what's going in here unless you're working at Imagineering right now, in which case, I'm excited to see what you have in store, my friend. But either way, how would you lay out your Villains Land, my friend? If you got to Blue Sky Imagineer a brand new Villains Land for the Magic Kingdom, what 2 major attractions would you put in the land? What sort of smaller flat rides or people moving attractions would you put into the land? And what would the themes of all of the shops and the restaurants and the rides be? I want to hear your sort of armchair Imagineering plan for this Villains Land down in the comments below. I know I'm going to see a Kronk pull the lever coaster in there somewhere. It's a wonderful idea. I am just calling that out right now. I know there's going to be plenty of that down there. But all of the sort of theorizing that I've done in this video remains to be seen. I was going solely off of the 1 press release and the 1 very vague piece of concept art that Disney has supplied to us at this point. And now I'm turning it over to Disney. It's no longer up to me to blue sky a land. It's up to you to show me more definite, concrete concept art. I actually just want to see the concept art. I don't care what you call it. I don't care what the rides are going to be. Show me where the pathways are. Show me where the bathrooms are. And then, and only then, will you finally have the chance to live up to the amazing teaser that you released to all of us last year around this time at the D23 Expo. Disney, the ball is in your village. Villain Village. No, I like Village. I think I'm gonna stick with Village.
Don't just see a place, taste it with the locals that know it best. Bake pastries in Paris with these baskets. Make ancient gelato in Rome with a 5th-gen artisan. Or master ramen in Tokyo with an award-winning chef. Experiences now on Airbnb.
Yes, indeed, there for sure. Hang on, there's one more commercial.
Thinking about buying a policy, but unsure if we have unreasonable fine print or...
Welcome, foolish mortals. It's now spooky season. The Halloween time at Disneyland has officially started, so it's essentially Halloween now. If you enjoyed this video of me talking about what I would put in the Magic Kingdom Villains Land, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you liked this video, you like this sort of armchair Imagineering sort of thing, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you had a fun time watching it. I know the map was a little bit cobbled together, but I personally think it ended up looking pretty good. I color-coded everything. It was very organized. I left room for the backstage stuff, which I tried really hard to do. I'm satisfied with what I did. A very, very big thank you, as always, to all of my supporters over at patreon.com/offhanddisney. You can see their names scrolling by on your screen right now. They are the ones who help keep this channel chugging along. They keep it moving. They support me in what I do, and so I can get into the parks, or I can go to D23 Expo and see these things, report these things firsthand, give you my takes. It helps out the channel a lot. If you want to join their ranks, you absolutely can. All you gotta do is follow the link in the description down below to my Patreon campaign and pledge even just $1 a month. If you want to pledge just the $1, you can. You can go higher if you want to. It gets you access to early videos. And if you want to get your name in the credits higher up in a different tier, you can pledge to those tiers accordingly. Gold, of course, is where all of my best friends are, but everybody on Patreon is my friend. If you want to join their ranks, again, it will be down in the link in the description. However, you do not have to pledge on Patreon. There is no pressure at all. If you want to follow me for free on other social media sites, I am on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. Sometimes there's some weird extra wacky content over there, so if that sounds like it might be interesting to you, you can head over there. But that, my friends, is the end of this video, the end of this sort of longer than usual end card. I hope it wasn't too long. I like to ramble sometimes. Thank you all so much for watching. This next month is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very new. I'm going a different sponsorship direction than I normally do. I'm very excited to get into it with you all. You'll see more later on. It's going to be great. I mean, come on, we're in spooky season already. It's going to be wonderful. I'm going to get some spooky videos going. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.
Okay. And there it is from Offhand Disney. Not too much I was surprised about. Offhand Disney's usually pretty on point with his predictions, I think, from Offhand Disney and from DSNY Newscast. Pretty much spot on. A couple of takes here and there from us, but I don't think they were too far off. I didn't think we were too far off as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I think that's about it for myself here. It's been kind of a long day today, y'all. But a good one though. I hope everyone has had a good Halloween. A good bonus tour tonight. Like I said, we did the Animal Kingdom Live. That was a scheduled show. This one was just for the fun of it because we just got done with the last live, and of course we hadn't seen DSNY's Newscast video on the Disney Villains Land. So, any final thoughts before I get ready to read the motivator and then head on out?
Let's stroll on through the comments section.
Okay. Okay, here we go.
It may give your predictions or decisions of your next show in the later future.
Understood. I've been right here, my friend. I was listening very intently, very, very intently right here. So believe me. Let's see here. Brothers on bathroom break. No, I was right here listening. Yes, indeed. I'm gonna work on second interactive simulator Riley's feelings in the Life Pavilion. Okay, here. Brain will be blown by our Epcot stuff. So Epcot is next. Okay. Okay then.
We got more to do there, so it may take a week or two. Who knows? So
yeah. I also did my own Maleficent roller coaster. Just wait until Brandon sees our people mover in Epcot link. Understood. And that's the thing too, y'all, with these theme park lives, is as much as I love doing them, the way that we are very we're very intense with them, that's why it does take so much time. Because I think the last one we did was it was the Universal one. It wasn't the Universal one. I'm trying to think. Shit. Was it the Nickelodeon one? I believe it was the Nickelodeon one.
Yeah, maybe so.
Okay. But either way, it took some time because it's finding out all the research. Then, of course, it's getting everything in and then figuring out, what day do we want to do the live. We try to do it towards the weekend because it gives us time to go through everything, but also, too, it ends the week on a high note. You know what I mean? But, yeah, if we're doing Epcot next, my Lord Jesus, a lot of ideas for that one.
Yeah, I need to get to show you images if it can comprehend what I'm trying to do. Keep mover connecting to all pavilions.
And then also, too, the interesting thing with this Disney, these Disney lives are going to be the fact of, will this strategy that we did for Animal Kingdom work for the others? And I can confidently tell you that as the three of us are the three of us, probably not, because with Animal Kingdom, I just said, let's do Ice Age at Animal Kingdom, and then everything kind of fell in place. That one was a blessing in disguise. Hollywood Studios, we could probably use that same strategy of finding 3 intellectual properties that could work within that, and then, fill out Hollywood Studios as a full day park. So I think that live won't be too complicated.
Yeah. By the way, here's an interesting. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go right ahead.
Okay. Since you were talking about this works for certain place, only for this place. Okay, over in Epcot, we have Wally. Let's say Wally gets his own ride. Yeah. Wally works pretty good in the Life Pavilion. Also, too, the Living with the Land Pavilion. It's a land pavilion, I was being to say.
Sure. No, I fully agree with that. I think Wally has definitely been underutilized for sure, and Wally can definitely be used in Epcot. He also can be used in Tomorrowland as that well. Sure.
And that's debunks the he's pretty good in either park then.
Yes. And I will say this, I think, and the reason why I'm bringing up the strategies, ladies and gentlemen, is because, like I said, with Magic Kingdom and Epcot is more of a, as they say, World's Fair, right? So it's more like an outdoor shopping mall. Not so much for shopping, but the concept of you can spend there all day, you can go to different attractions and watch movies. It's more of a leisure park with some rides. I think the most technical live that we will do is probably going to be Epcot, because it's not going to take 3 different intellectual properties, insert them, and then we're done.
Epcot's going to be something that may take 2 episodes, because there's a lot of things we need to discuss.
Yeah.
Because Florentine and I have probably 13 different prompts or more. I have no idea. He's probably got more prompts than I have right now if he's still awake. But
and then also too with Magic Kingdom, and this is the thing that we do with all the lives, right? We find the itch of what's happening in reality, and then we build out the live from there. So because Piston Peak is coming, and because Villains Land is coming, whatever we do with Magic Kingdom as well, which may be 2 episodes as well. And by the way, when it comes to Epcot Magic Kingdom, just know there won't be 2 episodes back to back.
Yeah,
believe me on that. Could it be done? Sure. But you would be out your rabbit ass mind to believe that that's going to happen, because you need time for each episode to breathe. So you need part 1 of Epcot to breathe. Everybody chew on that, because there might be things out of part 1 that might inspire episode 2. And the same thing with Magic Kingdom as well. There might be things in episode 1 that you can chew on that could inspire episode 2. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to rush the quality. Because when you watch these lives back, you want to watch it back where it's like, oh shit, I could actually see all this shit happening. Because you press play and you watch the whole thing and it's like, what the fuck was this? I don't see any of this as in the realm of possibility happening. I don't even feel a connection to it. If we do that, then we failed ourselves and you guys as the audience. Because even though this is a fantasy that we're giving you guys of what could happen, it needs to be grounded in reality enough where there's something for you to root for from a producing standpoint. Now, of course, the theme park nerds, they're going to have a higher standard than everybody who's coming here just to watch for the entertainment of it. Because this is entertainment after all. This is all fantasy of what could happen. But even though we're entertaining you, the theme park fans, while they like being entertained, it has to be in a realm where if Mickey Views picked this up, or if DSNY Newscast picked this up, or if Offhand Disney picked this up, or if Capture the Magic, or Bricky Blog, or Orange Grove, if one of those guys picked it up, they would pick it up and maybe not love everything, but they will respect it enough where if they pick it up, you guys will be like, oh, they actually made it. Okay. Because we hit something for them to be curious about. So that's my standard very much, is whenever we do these theme park lives utilizing AI, let's be entertaining enough where we enjoy what we do, but also too, let's hit the theme park audience strong enough where if it gets picked up for any other channel and they see it, it's not out of the realm of possibility that it could not happen, right? Because when Orange Grove 55, if he picks it up, you don't want him to be like, okay, I'm just doing this just for the fun of it. No, you want him to have a full-blown conversation. You want him to have full-blown commentary of how did they do this? So,
yeah. I am really stinking proud of what we did over this week for the first part of our show today.
Yeah,
really
absolutely
proud, because that is worth clipping and being on like the Offhand Disney, you know.
Yes,
indefinitely. I'm so proud of what we did.
Well, that's
speaking of which,
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm going to just share what we did tonight with a few of my friends, if they wanted to look at it, and you should do it with yours, and maybe Floating can do it with his, and I'll just post this onto X.
Yeah, sure.
We'll go from there. And reason why you see me being called Phil Metzger Studios is because, let's say I want to upload my content that we just did as my own, you know. But, you know, you guys helped me.
Yes.
Which is, anyways, it expands the advertisement of what we are doing here.
Oh, absolutely. No, without question. That's the whole point of the three of us coming together. You know, I mean, when this thing came together, I mean, of course, we all came through La Renee Creole, and we're all still connected to her for sure. But I think when it comes to La Renee Creole, I say this with the utmost love, respect, and reverence for her. I think when she covers theme park news, it's at such a level where I'm sure with her engineering brain, she could probably do a live like this, and I would just have my hands under my chin. Like, yes, story time. Please, you're an engineer. Yes, be that thick black engineer girl. Please. All night. Pound it hard. I don't care how complicated it is. Just speak, right? But I know what y'all thinking. Well, damn, Bray, that sounded a little bit aggressive the way you would want her to talk. Listen, everybody has a different communication style that works for their learning style, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, she has a job where she may not be able to do what we do in this style, but I'm sure she's wanted to play around in this commentary space, you know what I mean? Because whenever she does Resort Recon, it's not really this deep in terms of taking a video, and she does take videos, but she doesn't break them down like this, or like what we did tonight. She doesn't take that and make it what it is. And so I think for the three of us, the good thing about us is, as long as it makes sense to us as fans first, then we'll create content out of it. Because if we can't get excited to talk about offline, there's no reason to make the content for you guys to consume online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just thought of another name that we don't really have in contact with at all. Maybe Florentine. Florentine's watched them before. Mouselets has a engineering degree too.
Okay.
They have their YouTube channel, two ladies, you know. They're a little bit nerdy, just like us, kind of.
Okay.
So I don't know how to get in contact with them, but well.
Yeah, send me their stuff and I'll take a look. And by the way, for and you know, Phil, I believe, has been in the theme park space for quite a while. And the one thing about this channel over here is, you know, say what you mean what you say. And for Phil to say what he just said about how he was incredibly proud of what we did, where he believes that it should be in the hands of offhand Disney for him to talk about it, that's no small shit. You know,
yeah, offhand Disney, or I don't know if that who's the guy that did a 1 hour program video about like rivers of America. I forget his name.
That was Mickey Views.
Yes, Mickey Views. Yes, I would love to have him take over this. I'd be like
yeah, Yeah, I feel like if Mickey Views or if Offhand Disney like took the live that we did and did a whole breakdown of it, and they were like, what the actual fuck? Who are these three?
If it makes it up on Mickey Views, I know damn well that Joshua L. Harris is going to watch it.
Yeah.
You know that guy.
I believe I do.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, I sent you an interview with him. He was very informative.
Okay.
He's worked at Disney, and he's a very smart guy.
Send it again so that way I can make sure I have it. But if one of those two pick it up, or if anybody picks it up and does a review and they're genuinely impressed with what we do, that's how I know that we're doing our thing. But also, too, you have to recognize, even if that doesn't happen, as long as you feel good about it, you feel good about it. But for Phil to give that type of compliment is huge, because everything we did in that last live, that was live. That was not taped. Where, like, when Mickey Views did what he did with Rivers of America, that looked like it was a live broadcast, but it was taped. But for us to bring you a concept live, no commercial breaks, and keeping a pace and a rhythm to it where, oh my God, how did you do that? That led to this, to that, to that, and and you stayed the whole time. That shit's not easy to do live.
You know what's actually funny? It took me 18 hours between 4 days to do all of that.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Because I am very picky. Very picky.
No, let me tell you something. Both of y'all are, because I would be resting, just chilling, and I would get nothing but ding, 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 ding. So they were going hard. I was going hard as well, but I also was resting too. So believe me. But here's the thing, though, right? When it comes to the three of us, I feel that Phil, with what he did with Ice Age tonight, very detail oriented.
Yeah, I stayed up till midnight each of these days and rested on Thursday. I went to bed around a better time yesterday night at 10 o'clock.
Right. And no, you definitely stayed up for sure. And with and these are the skills that I'm saying that I think we all bring very well. Feel very detail oriented, very methodical. With Thornton, he can see around corners that, like, okay, you know what? That's cool. But what about this? It's not downing your idea, but it's just, here's the idea, but could it be tweaked? And if it could be tweaked, how could it be better? And then with myself, because I understand the media component of intellectual property and how to relate that fan base, or that fandom rather, to the theme park industry, but also to being the host that I am, to be able to take a little bit of Phil's, a little bit of Florentines, a little bit of mine, and bring it to you in a live format where it's not only a pitch, but it's a whole show, and keep it entertaining. That's what I do as a host. Because, and I say this with the utmost love, I feel like I'm Walt Disney Imagineering and Universal Creative of, like, why in the fuck am I the final frontier to decide what's good and what's bad? But also, too, when it comes to doing this live, I can't read every single thing, but I'm going to read the utmost important things to fill in the masterpiece of a picture that we're trying to present to you.
Yeah.
Because as a host, if you read everything, it pops the helium out the balloon for the audience, because it's like, okay, well, hell, I could have just researched all this. I'm coming here for an experience. So me giving you just enough pictures and the why moves the show along faster, but also gives you a chance to engage with, oh, wait a minute, Ice Age, yeah, I remember that movie. My favorite character was Manny. What are they going to do with Manny? I say, oh, wow, that's amazing. But if I read everything, then you're not having the chance to breathe with what your memories are connected to what we're talking about. And there's no mechanism for you to chew on anything, because I'm reading everything and giving you everything, but there's not a mechanism for you to engage with us. So I feel like those three skill sets combined. Whew,
and let's say if that's a problem, you know, what you said, if that was a problem, I got a channel. I'm going to try to upload a video myself if I could. So
yes, absolutely.
And which, like I said, expansion, add, you know, get more eyes, you know.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I always, absolutely. I always try to make sure whenever we do these live that I want Phil and Fullerton to feel that I fleshed out what they wanted to say in the fullest capacity that I can do it, while being entertaining but respecting what they brought to the table. Because I know my voice is different than theirs, but we're also all theme park brothers. So they know if whatever they bring me, they know that I'm going to take it very seriously. Because at the end of the day, we want the theme park industry to be great. It's just making sure that whatever they give me, they have to understand that me as the host, when I go live, I'm having the rundown in my head of making sure that we're entertaining while also relating to the problem that we asked about. How is this a problem? Why is it a problem? And how can we utilize ourselves as a solution while also having fun along the way? So
yeah, and make it so that my money is worth the cost too.
Correct.
They keep on raising the prices, and for what?
Yep.
As they take more and more away, and they keep on raising the price, which turns me off. And say that.
No, for sure. I mean, with what we did with Animal Kingdom, they would have to bring back extra magic hours for everybody to experience everything that we talked about at Animal Kingdom. They would have to.
Yeah, what is actually funny is I was there opening just a few weeks after they opened Pandora in Animal Kingdom 2018. So I don't know if I'm the only one here or if you or Florentine went there in 2018. Or whenever they stopped.
I was at the time.
Okay, you were there. I don't know if Florentine might have been there. I'm sure he might have been. He's asleep right now. But yeah, it was quite an experience. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they closed the park at 6 o'clock now.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest factors on why we
it's a half-a-day park.
Yeah, I think that was one of the motivating factors of why we wanted to do Animal Kingdom first. I mean, me saying Ice Age at Animal Kingdom was definitely part of the inspiration. But I think also, too, fulfilling that assignment of how do we make this a full-day park was the challenge. I think we handled the challenge very well tonight. I really, really do believe that.
Yeah.
You know, and not to mention too, we did create any new overhead for Disney. If anything, the overhead that we did create, if there was any, that these ideas are not weak ideas. These are very 90s Disney shove and take my money ideas. So, you know, it's going to cost some money to do what we pitched tonight. But in the same token, though, I would not have went live with Florentine and Phil if we did not believe in what we pitched. And Disney will eventually have to figure out what they want to do with Animal Kingdom anyway to make it a full-day park. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to go with our idea, but eventually they're going to have to figure something out like what we did, but at least we took intellectual property that they already have in-house and just added sauce to it, which is way bigger and better and more structurally sound methodically, rather than creating a whole original idea and it shit. So
you paid a whole lot of stinking money to buy Fox, which that was probably way too much to, you know, purchase Fox. But you better just use the intellect property of Fox, and this is how we're going to do it.
Right.
Because you better make that money worth a ton of money that you had to pay for it.
Correct.
And yes, John wrote the ideas just to force them to realize, okay, this is now going to be a full-time park with our new land. We're going to see nice lights in Pandora again, which, by the way, controversial idea or not, Florentine may disagree, that Pandora fulfills the mythical creatures idea of dragons.
Right.
Don't you agree too?
I do agree with that. In my Walt Disney World rebrand master plan, I added Spyro from PlayStation.
Well, no. I am saying that the Pandora land right now is the one that fulfills the dragons.
Yes. No, I'm agreeing with you fully on that. That
when you went to Spyro,
that the mythical creature component of Animal Kingdom has been fulfilled by Pandora. I was just saying to you that when I did my Walt Disney World rebrand master plan, I brought Spyro the Dragon in from PlayStation because that also is a mythical, like you said, dragons are mythical creatures. And as I was doing the Walt Disney World rebrand master plan, I'm like, what is one video game creature that could be at Disney that nobody is ever expecting, but has a staying power that if they saw it, they would freak out just for the fact that it's finally happening. And I thought Spyro would do it. But yes, I will say Pandora definitely opened up Disney World for sure. But also too, if you notice, they also allowed James Cameron to be James Cameron.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's
like what happened to the author that made Harry Potter. Like,
yes, J.K.
They
Rowling.
learned their lesson.
Yes, they did. They learned a very huge lesson of let people be who they are, and you'll make them back. Yeah.
Is one step ahead, or just an inch, or smidgen right behind them now.
Right.
Versus compared to 15 years ago.
Correct.
Or 20 years ago. Yeah.
And I think back then Disney was the powerhouse where they could wield that power because the creatives trusted Disney. But now Disney is in a position where they have to allow the creatives to be creative. Like, if Disney brought the three of us in-house and gave us each $20 million a year, they would have to let us do what we did tonight. Fully. with no questions asked. It could not be any supervision. It would have to be whatever you do not open up this door. If you open up this door, there's going to be major consequences that you're not going to like.
You know what's actually funny is that, as you said, I've been going to the parks for a long time, and yes, I have. My first time to Disney was 1997.
Right.
When I was a little kid. And I went back in 2003. We became DVC members. So, there. My parents. 2004, we came back. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, skip a year, 14, 15. Well, I didn't go on 15. They did. 17, 18. And then this trip. I remember a time back in the mid-2000s when people would be more excited to go to Disney and versus going to Universal. And that was pre-Harry Potter.
Yes.
Because if I told somebody at school about, or somebody heard that I went to Disney World back in the mid-2000s, they'd probably be like, oh, jealous. Say that again now, today.
Yes, and it's interesting that you say that because now it has flipped completely. Because I think Universal understands
firsthand, even in right there, live in Orlando, people's expressions, how they would react if you were going somewhere.
Exactly, and I think it's interesting that you say that because now it has completely flipped. And what I have said to you guys and what I've said to La Renee Creole is not that people can't stand Disney; they just can't stand this version of Disney. And I've often said that Disney does not respond well to kids growing up. They stay in this nostalgia state of mind that we've been around 100 years, so you should just like every movie show, not every movie show, child, but every movie and TV show that we do, and you're gonna like every ride that we create. And it's just like, no, we have the right to refuse, and I don't think Disney ever thought that they could be refused before.
Yeah, they've been way too comfortable for way too long.
Yes.
They never had something like this happen to them.
No.
They don't know how to freaking react.
Right. No, and you're absolutely right. Like, and this is the thing too, right? And it's not that people don't mind, it's not that people don't want to go to Disney. Like, I've never been to Disney, but I would still like to go to Disney just to say that I've done it, right? And Mickey is very endearing, and so is all of them, right? Because to meet Mickey Mouse in person has to be a moment in anybody's life. I don't care who you are, whether you've seen a cartoon, whether you've seen merchandise, just to see that smiling face. And the fact that Disney has invested into Mickey gives me some hope. But after I get done being there for the first time, what else you got? Because I'm not going to Disney as a 10-year-old. I'm going to Disney as a 31-year-old. And I'm just like, okay, well, I've done Space 220. Okay, I've done Mission Space. Okay, I've done Test Track. Is this all you got?
Yes.
Because after you get done riding the legendary rides, then that's pretty much it. And some people only go to Disney once. There are people going to Universal during the week just to go because they love the atmosphere. And I think Disney has forgotten that you can only bank on nostalgia for so long.
Yes.
What do you have after nostalgia? And I don't think they've ever had this real of a conversation behind the scenes, because y'all know my philosophy if I was the Disney CEO. All right, everybody, so we're on lockdown. If you got kids, we're going to make sure they get to school on time. If you have a wedding anniversary, don't worry. This is why we have Disneyland and Walt Disney World. We'll set up a lunch. We'll set up a dinner or a lunch for you at Walt Disney World, Disneyland. But we're on lockdown until we figure out why Disney has fucked up the asshole with no lube and they're bleeding and stuff. We're not leaving here. But Bray, we're not gonna get this solved in a day. I know we're not gonna get it solved in a fucking day, but y'all have had how much time to get this solved and y'all haven't done shit? No, we're on lockdown. We're gonna still do the company operations and shit, but at night we're gonna get this shit done.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how we're gonna get it done? Well, we're gonna bring in fans. We're bringing fans to Hollywood. Yes, they consume our content, so obviously they must know what the fuck is going on because we don't know shit. Go ahead, Phil. I'm sorry.
Yeah, actually, it's funny that you bring that up, like lockdown and everything. It kind of reminds me of like the history video of how they built Epcot. They brought the families over there to eat with their husbands while they were building the park.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because they were busy doing stuff like 24 hours a day.
Yes.
We will be just doing that to figure out what's up the a-hole, or what's going on here.
Exactly.
And I'll bring my wife over there and like have there's plenty of kitchens at the studios,
right.
And there's showers, and you have it at the studios.
Honestly, to save Disneyland and Disney World, I would have 100 content creators and then 100 theme park experts. It would be a year-long recon. I would want the 100 content creators who create content in the park to go to each park. So 2 months in Magic Kingdom, 2 months in Epcot, 2 months at Hollywood Studios, 2 months at Animal Kingdom. And then I want the 100 experts to go to every fucking hotel, every fucking restaurant, every fucking bar. I want both groups to give me all the research. We get focus groups in. We see the focus groups can agree with what our teams have found and then build out a game plan from there. Mm-hmm. Because Disney right now is not in a state where, it's just one park or two parks where you can just split, two groups into those parks, figure out the problems and then fix it. Oh no, this is a whole resort recon where it's a year-long recon. And it will be the same thing with Disneyland. I need 100 content creators to ride every ride and attraction at Disney's California Adventure at Disneyland. And I need the rest of the 100 theme park experts to go to the hotels, bars, and restaurants. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Bray, why would you send the content creators to the theme parks, but they can't eat? It's not that they can't eat, but most of the time, content creators are riding rides and they're going to attractions because that's what brings in the money. So why not have those content creators go to the rides and attractions that they produce for their YouTube channels because they know what feeds their audience? The reason why I'm having the theme park experts who study theme park design, who know the world of culinary, who know the world of mixology, who knows the world of hospitality, is because those are the big money makers. So because they consume those things all the time, if they're eating at every restaurant, if they're at every bar, if they're at every hotel, having week-long stays at each hotel, then guess what? They're going to have a higher standard than a content creator. Because a content creator is, okay, is the food delectable enough where I could swallow it and feel like I did get cheapened out? Does the drink taste good? And are the conditions of the hotel good? That's all they're going to care about, because they're not going to be in the hotel all vacation. They're going to be out in the park. So that's why I have the content creators on the rides and attractions.
Mm-hmm.
So the method that we use here is the same method I would use if I was the CEO.
Yeah.
Because you have to be practical in order to figure out solutions.
Yeah. And I'll try to be like a CEO mindset as well. I try to think of in a CEO mindset as well. I mean, I don't know as much as you do, of course, but I try to be a CEO mindset as well. Here's a really dark or something that I thought about. How much do you think you would estimate to fix the parks as it is right now?
Oh God. I mean, Disney's in debt, right?
Yeah, I recall. Okay, there was a release back in July of how much it was in percentage of debt ratio it was.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it $10 billion?
I believe so. And I believe they're investing like $50 billion or somewhere in the billions in renovating the parks, if I'm not mistaken. So if I was the CEO, they would be in that much debt. All the upgrades that they're doing, I would scratch all the upgrades. And not to mention too, here's another thing too. Like, for example, the Main Street Theater was supposed to be renovated. There's a lot of dead in the water projects that they never got off the ground.
Yeah. Funny thing is, I recall the Main Street Theater, like being right behind the Main Street, which is currently, being still used as your emergency exit or, crowd control exit.
Right.
I made a very simple concept to theme that area, which is like a callback to what they were wanting to do as Side Street in Disneyland. Very simple. It takes only like a few minutes, even though it's very late. Some other time for Magic Kingdom. Call it Edison Square. Edison Square.
I was about to say, I believe didn't they have a place in downtown Disney called the Edison or something like that? I thought it was like a restaurant.
That's actually funny, yes, because Rena Creole, while you were at the grocery store and Florentine was coming back home from whatever he was doing, was at the Edison place during her live feed. So,
all right. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. And I hope that she had a great live stream. I gotta be over there more often. I've been pounding the pavement over here. But I believe she knows that I still care about her.
Oh yeah.
And as much as she works on her channel, she understands what it is.
She thought it was pretty cool that I was hanging out with you guys and stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was like a few months ago, like when I mentioned it. So. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's awesome. Well, thank you, Lorraine. That's a high compliment from you. And like I said, hopefully
you can find it on the stream if you know where to find it, of course, because all the streams are published. So.
Yeah. I have to go back and look. And like I said, hopefully I can be on the Resort Recon soon, because the time that I was on it with Ron and Lorena, I really enjoyed my time on there. And I think the reason why I really connect to Lorena is because it's one thing to find somebody that sounds like you, but it's another thing to have somebody that looks like you too. And so to have a black girl and a black guy, both nerds, and she's a nerd from the engineering perspective, I'm a nerd from the media perspective, and to come into the fold where she's already established and everything, and your energy is the energy where she peeps you. It's like, oh damn, you actually on this level. Like you can hang. Like that's a huge compliment.
Yeah. I just recalled when it happened. It was around the time that we were coming up with the Nickelodeon Studios Indoor Park project.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That gives you a timeline.
Okay, I appreciate it. Now I have to go over there sometime soon and show some love over there. But that's the thing too with Disney is that I remember when it was the final day of the Liberty Bell, right? And how sad Lorena was on that day. And she didn't cry on the stream, but even though I've never met her in real life, I felt the tears that she wasn't releasing on that stream.
Yeah, and I was saying to myself, like, you made my girl cry. How dare you?
Exactly. And that's the thing that people don't get about YouTube and these parasocial relationships. You only know what they present you, but you can tell when it's authentic and when it's not authentic. And I think that's the space that Disney's in right now. It's not that people don't like Disney; they just don't like this version of Disney. And I think if Lorena saw the live that we did tonight, I believe she would have a resort recon about it. Like, do y'all see what these three are doing over here? Like, I know Phil, I know Fullerton, and I know Braylon, but I didn't know that they could do that. And I think that's what Disney needs to be. I think that's the mindset Disney need to have is, okay, we use social media to promote everything. How about we use social media as a advantage, as our focus group? Because I mean, hell, they own ABC. So honestly, I've said this to you guys before. There's the Imagineering, there's Walt Disney Imagineering, but there should be the Walt Disney Creatoratory, which is creativity and laboratory together, Creatoratory. And you do a TV competition on ABC, take the top 10 men, top 10 women who are creative as content creators or what have you, and at the end you choose the top 5 men, top 5 women, and they get a job at the Walt Disney Creatoratory division, and they get a 3-year contract to come up with these ideas to help Disney parks out. Like, it wouldn't be hard to do.
No.
But you have to be willing to say, you know, maybe we've been in our own way for too long.
Mm-hmm.
But until you recognize that, you're going to fall on your ass, because Universal's not going to stop for shit. They're just not. I wouldn't stop for shit if I'm Universal. Are you kidding?
Universal's found a winning concept, and they're going to build on it, and they
Absolutely. I mean, when we did the Universal Hotels live, and Phil, you were there for that. You were really impressed by how me and Fullerton were able to take Epic Universe and be able to expand on the hotels where, and I just realized this now, what we did was we took what Vegas did with what Vegas does with hotels and what Disney has done with hotels, and we made these Epic Universe hotels attractions upon themselves, where if you don't have a ticket to Epic Universe, you still don't mind going to the hotel just to be at the hotel.
You just gave me an idea. Let's see if I got it here. I sent you a 6-second video.
Hold on.
I'm doing this stream. No, I have no idea.
Oh no, you're good.
Can you hear me?
But no. Oh no, you're good. But no, that's exactly what we did. Was we took Epic Universe and made these hotels. So like, if you couldn't get to How to Train Your Dragon, you still wanted to go to the How to Train Your Dragon hotel. You still wanted to go to the Nintendo hotel. You still wanted to go to the Dr. Manor. And also too, you could be comfortable at these hotels where if you did have a ticket to Epic Universe, you were just fine staying at the hotel because that was as close to the park as you could, and you felt quality from that. Okay, give me a moment, yo. Ugh. Okay, y'all, give me a. Okay, y'all, here we go here. Now, this was the Helios Hotel here. You see the representation of the hotel, which, I mean, it's just incredible. So this is when it's nighttime here. And you see the lighting of day. I mean, just stunning when you really think about it. So, truly, like I said, this is why I love doing what we do so well together. And this is why I love doing what we do so well.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I just played it.
Yeah, cool, huh? I may make a few more.
I mean,
later after the show, maybe tomorrow, because that was weird what my phone was doing.
I mean, sincerely, when I play, right from the nighttime of the Helios Hotel, is how it up the color of it. And like I said, that's the thing too, is that all those hotels that me and 14 did, we wanted these to be attractions upon themselves, where if you didn't have a ticket to Epic Universe, you did feel left out. Yeah. So like what you said about Disney, like, oh man, I'm jealous that I'm jealous that you got to go with Disney, but I didn't. But if you didn't get the chance to go Epic Universe, you wasn't jealous because you saw how detailed the hotels that me and 14 came up with. I mean, anybody would have been happy to stay at any of those hotels.
Yep.
And never go to Epic Universe, go to all the other ones, and still be cool because they're in it 24/7.
Yes. Oh yeah. By the way, did you like my blue sky idea of a Chernobog, Bald Mountain roller coaster?
Let me see here.
It's a 6-second video.
Okay, I'm about to watch it now.
Yes.
I'm about to watch it now with all of y'all live.
It is Halloween though.
Ooh.
Perfect for today.
Ooh, you are a bold one. Hang on, y'all. I want y'all to see this one. You are a bold one. Y'all look at this. Wow. You did that. You did that. Chernobog would be very proud.
Yes. Because everyone said for the longest time that he should have his main attraction.
Right.
And I would figure that, you know, he deserves to be the quintessential, you know, center, you know, of all the villains.
Yeah.
You know, he is that spawned all the other villains. You know, the Evil Queen, even though Evil Queen came before him, you know, etc. Because he is, you know, horns on head. You know.
Yes. No, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fun one. It is 2:50 in the morning, almost 3 a.m. here. Phil, any final words before I read the Daily Motivator?
I'll leave you this, that I am more picky about what I want to buy from Disney based on what they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
2, you know where I live, or people know where I come from.
Yes.
In the north. Takes 18, 17 hours of driving to get to where you are, you know.
Yes.
Or you know, Disney World in general. Unlike you and flaunting, you know, it may not, well, affects you, but affects people who travel long distances.
Right.
You know, what they are doing. People who travel long distances may just be more motivated to stay home now.
Mm-hmm.
Which is practically what's happening to
Yes.
convinces me to stay home and maybe possibly not go back. And this is the motivation key to why I do what I do with you guys.
Yeah. No,
Because
I
want to make Disney great again.
Yes. No, absolutely. And like I said, I really do believe that the three of us can definitely put a dent in the theme park industry.
I should buy Ron's hat and throw it on top of my head.
Yes. No, absolutely. And honestly, too, hopefully, you know, with these lives that we're doing, hopefully it will have, you know, the theme park sector open up a little bit more to, you know, take more swings like this. Because like I said, I haven't been in the theme park sector long, but I don't know of anybody else who does or has done or has ever done what we have done. So far up to this point, I don't think anybody has taken a swing like this to utilize, and this is way before AI, but just to even take a problem in the theme park industry and break it down in this fashion. I don't think it's ever been done before on YouTube in the way that we're doing it. And I do think that this could definitely help the theme park sector out, but hopefully this will open up eyes at Walt Disney Imagineering and Universal Creative and other theme parks to be like, okay, maybe the fans do know something here. You know what I mean? Maybe we've been in our own way for a minute. Maybe we should listen to outsiders a little bit more. If they ride our rides and they know what's up, maybe we should listen a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because trust me, if I didn't believe in this, I would not have done any of the lives. And I think AI really showcases our creativity. Because like I said, AI is the resource. We're the source.
Mm-hmm.
And so to be able to showcase, you know, Chernobog having a roller coaster, or being able to showcase what we did tonight with Animal Kingdom. And I got to tell you, those shorts are going to be shorted for sure.
See if we can short this 6-second clip because it's like Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yes, no, for sure.
So cool.
Yes.
I did not know it could just make that. Now, I made another 6-second short to advertise the Haunted Mansion Resort. Hopefully it doesn't glitch out on me again. Give me one moment.
Okay. While you do that, I'm gonna bring up the daily motivator here and get ready to head on out soon as you send me that.
It's quite spooky and perfect for the advertisement for Haunted Mansion Resort, which I would think if I could find an area, it may sacrifice the golf area right across the way from Portal Lanes area, which is kind of listed as like sort of unsuitable land right now in the woods area.
Right.
The golf course is surrounded the perimeter of the woods over there across the boat canal. That's where it's going to be at. If you know where to find it on the next show.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where it's going to be. Alright. I sent it right now.
Okay.
Just sent it.
Understood.
A great way to go to bed, you know. Like, you've been to the park, now you're going to go, You're going to go here now. Go to bed. You visited Villians, and now you're going to go to bed at Haunted Mansion.
Here we go, y'all. There is the Haunted Mansion right there in the background there.
I just love how she just like moves like, oh my god, that is spooky.
And I will never forget. I will never forget when I brought up that Zillow listing of the Haunted Mansion and pretended that it was a real house. Oh my god, so many people got scared. I'm like, y'all, that was just advertisement for the film. That house is not real. Y'all calm down. Good Lord Jesus.
That is funny that their advertisement was that. I loved it. And what's actually funny is like there is a video that people can watch from 15 or so years ago of that they built a Haunted Mansion in Duluth, Georgia.
Yes.
If you remember that one.
Yes, and that was and that inspired the real mansion. But yeah, Zillow and Disney did a very good job at making that haunted house tour. I mean, it was actually terrifying. I'm not going to sit here in front like, and you know, I think that's the thing as we get ready to close here. Let me get the Daily Motivator up for you all here. I think that's the thing with YouTube that I love so much is you don't know everything, and there's a blessing in that. And I think sometimes when people watch content creators, it's like, oh my god, how did you do this? How did you do that? It looks easy because we invest in our gift. Like I said, for example, to take that Zillow listing of the Haunted Mansion and to know when to be scared and how to be scared and make you feel like it's a real listing, that's a gift. Because if I present you that and you're like, nope, no, get that house out of my fucking face, right? Nope, I don't want. I'm like, hey, listen, it was a fake listing. Wait, what? Yeah, that was totally fake. Oh, fuck you!
I did my job.
Say that again.
I would live there. I don't mind.
You know, Phil. There's a thing called a postcard. I will just have to. I can't give you the address because then of course the Haunted Mansion will know where I live, and there's 3 hitchhiking ghosts that can fly. So listen. we'll figure something out because I care about my life, obviously. So, unfortunately, I do not want to be the 1,000th haunt.
It's funny. I've been telling Florentine spooky stories all week long and stuff, and maybe he's a little bit spooked.
Yes, no, for sure. And with that being said, everybody, let's get to the daily motivator here. The legs are the wheels of creativity. Albert Einstein. There it is there. It's time for the day motivator for Friday, October 31st, 2025, the newest season. Take a ride on the wild wind of autumn as it sends away the summer's heat. Welcome the eternal progression as time marches relentlessly through all of existence. The light changes, the seasons change, and then they change again. One wave washes upon the shore, followed by a different one and another again. You cannot hold on to the things. You can't hold on to the way things were, yet you do get to participate in shaping the way things will be. A new season is already coming with its load of uncertainty and potential for trouble, yet as it arrives, it also brings countless possibilities for goodness and fulfillment. It's wise to be wary of what difficulties might come, but you gain nothing by living perpetually in fear. Live instead to lift up what's good, what's right, what's beneficial to your life and your world. The sun rises on a day different than any other has been. Use the occasion to focus on its positive possibilities. Commit yourself to making the newest season in your life the most meaningful one yet. Ralph Morrison. You know, when we talk about the newest season here, and it has been quite the year here in the world that we live in, I'm going to bring up two incidents that have happened in our theme park family. Mr. Savala, who passed away on Stardust Racers, and the woman who passed away after riding the Haunted Mansion. And there was also someone who committed suicide at a Disney resort, right? And,
two of them did, I believe.
Yes, and the Fort Wilderness as well. And I know what you guys are thinking, Bray. How does this relate to the newest season? Just because those incidents happened at Disney and Universal does not mean that we should condemn the cast members, the team members, the staffs, the crews, and everybody who was a fan of these parks. Because while those seasons were horrible, the new seasons of creativity and what can be is such a joy that if we knock down what has happened, we cannot have space to embrace the good of what can be. And I send love, light, and prayers to each and every single one of them. And if you watched the live where I talked about the Haunted Mansion, everybody knows the joke. And I'm not joking about the woman who passed away from the Haunted Mansion, but if you know the ghost host, there are 999 happy haunts, and there's always room for one more.
Yeah.
And
my mind went the same way too.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And for some people, they may say, well, that's kind of morbid. But in the same token, that is not meant out of any malice, harm, or evil intent. What that goes to show is that
life is precious. You don't know when it's going to.
Absolutely. Life is
that's what it means. What we're saying here.
Absolutely. And
live your life to the fullest like it's your last. Make it count.
Absolutely.
Make it world a better place than what you found it.
Absolutely. So our first point here with the newest season is the light changes, the season changes, then they change again. Just because these incidents happen at these parks doesn't mean that these parks aren't magical. We would not have done what we've done tonight with Animal Kingdom if we did think the Animal Kingdom at Disney could be of importance. Every park, every space, every entity, this, that, and the third has a new season, but you have to be willing to be open to that season. That's the first thing I would tell you. The second thing I will say is it's wise to be wary of what difficulties might come, but you gain nothing by living perpetually in fear. I had a moment tonight with my mom that I don't think I've ever been able to articulate. Because I try to hold on and stay strong a lot of times, but there are times where I'm like, I know I'm gifted at what I do, and I know the financial bag should be matching up with the gift bag by now, especially when you feel like you always are doing the right thing. So the second thing I will say to you about a new season is, while you are weary and wondering if you will ever be respected, you need to take a look around at who already respects you, who's already investing in you, and who's already loving on you. Because if you can go into a new season with still people caring about you, you are more wealthier than most.
Yes.
And yesterday was Halloween, and it's Halloween weekend. And, kids, they go through a lot. So if you see a blue bucket that has somebody with autism or disability, and I know that people like to hide and trick and deceive with particular costumes of horror, but also to recognize that being an asshole is a horror too. And this new season, let's not bring horror that can hurt people when we already have a hurting world. And far be it from me to say that, because I probably would not be, if the fate of the world was on the line, laser beam on the world, I probably wouldn't be the one chosen to save it. But I would be at least number 100 on the list to be picked. And so would Phil and Florentine as well. That's the second thing I would say to you. And finally, the sun rises on a day different than any other has been. The reason why this world is so amazing is not because of how many spaces we have to go to, but it's the people that invest in it. Right now, at midnight, and by the way, I just want to mention that this was Universal's Epic Universe's first Halloween ever. I can only imagine how dark Universe was tonight.
Okay. You mentioned that, and I was watching Lorraine's live show, and it was Dan's life, I believe, right? Dan's life?
Dan's life at the Dan's life at the Kingdom.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. He made a comment, and supposedly I don't know if he went there, but he had been told that nothing happened at Dark Universe. You can rewatch the you can rewatch the live feed of Lorena Creole's walk through Disney Springs tonight, and that's what he had said, which was like, "You kidding me? You missed out on an opportunity." That's weird.
Okay then.
Yeah, you gotta have to watch that clip. Just a few seconds like this. I was like floored. Like,
with that information said, I'll say this.
It may just be repeated again on the Saturday shows.
Gotcha. I'll say this, and with that, you may have an idea in your head, right, of what should be, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be that. You cannot expect you out of other people, but what you can do is give the best you have. You can't expect you out of other people, but you can give the best that you have. So the third thing I'll tell you, the sun rises on a different day than it has than any other has been. The reason why the world is amazing is not because of the places we have to go to, but the people who work at it. So for tonight, even though Universal Orlando missed out on the first Halloween for Dark Universe.
Epic Universe.
Yes. Hopefully tomorrow at 10 a.m. they'll recognize this Halloween weekend. And when that sun rises up, they'll give them a Halloween weekend that's worth something. But even if they don't, make sure that you still celebrate the good of what's happening for you.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if anyone mentioned it to one of the cast members, and cast member talked to their cast members, master, and then their manager, like, hey, let's do a little something tomorrow. Surprise.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, didn't we talk about that with La Renee Creole? Because she was gonna go at Halloween Horror Nights, and we all talked about like, hey, they're gonna do something for Halloween for Dark Universe. I mean, it's a Halloween Horror Nights park essentially, but for them not to do anything, it's a little bit odd.
Slight little extra, just for this day in particular. That's all.
Yes.
Nothing big, just something slightly more.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not. So, I mean, and honestly, too, to tell you the truth, what I would have done was extra hours tonight, at least until 2 a.m. That's what I would have done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because that's the one thing that everybody talks about with Epic Universe is so beautiful at night. So because it's Halloween, and honestly, not just because it's Halloween, but because it's Halloween weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're going to extend it until 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. for park hours, just because it's Halloween weekend. That would be a very easy thing to do. You wouldn't have to put up no decoration or nothing.
Come to think of it, none of the parks would allow any costumes to the park. I would assume, right? Because there was plenty of costumes at Disney Springs.
Yeah. I think because of the Halloween, and this is just my thinking, because Disney doesn't do.
I was wondering if that could be like an exception day.
Yeah, Disney doesn't do scream houses, because Disney's more family friendly, which
I'm talking about Epic Universe's stuff.
Yeah. No, that's where I'm getting at. Because Disney doesn't do any scream houses and Universal does, I think Universal probably wanted to keep the scare actors where they needed to be with Halloween Horror Nights and not have too many people just being able to create fear anytime, anywhere, because with Universal, they take that seriously. So I think they probably just wanted to control it, and maybe by the next Halloween, maybe they might allow costumes, but because it was the first Halloween, they probably just wanted to keep it tame.
Exactly. I had the same thought as well. It's
that could be my only logic.
We did this, and like, okay, well, let's see if we can do better this year. This is the first year.
I don't know why, but I hope La Renee Creole was a Mortal Kombat character. Because Lord Jesus, she could finish me anytime. Lord Jesus Christ, just bro, you getting your ass whooped. Yeah, I'm letting my ass get whooped. Okay, shit. That's why I got lungs for. It's okay. There's a hospital right down the road. You know what? Let me stop. Anyway, Lorena, if you hear this, it's all in love, okay? You're a very gorgeous woman in cosplay. You can definitely do so. Believe me, it's all admiration over here, okay? Jesus. Anyway, you got to clarify things like that, because you can't really flirt like that like you used to, without being interpreted as something. But also, too, there's nothing wrong with being kind as well. You know what I mean? So, but anyway. It is time for some sleep. 3:14 in the morning. I think we did our job, gentlemen. Phil, love you, brother. Great job. Florian, I know you are probably asleep by now.
He'll catch this on replay.
Yes, I was resting my eyes throughout it, but I was still here though. Okay, I was still here with y'all. With that being said, it's time for the best outro on YouTube. Know what you do and do what you know. Never say you want more special, because you are always one of blessing and trust. You may not be where you want to be, but by the end of it, you'll be where you need to be. Do what you've been chosen to do. Wise one thing, call yourself. It's another thing, be chosen. One love, much love, all love. We have spent time with you. You have spent time with us. And hopefully by spending time together, we'll be great together. Always remember where you're doing radio, television, YouTube, living your best life, or just talking about good theme park stuff with your friends and being ahead of the curve before other companies make moves. In Disney, if you make any move with Animal Kingdom or any of these lives, or my Walt Disney World rebrand master plan, same thing with Universal, or any of the deep dive lives I've done, I'ma need my motherfucking cut. Okay?
Call me, sir.
Yes, call
prefer
text as well.
Text me. I don't answer phone calls I don't know.
Yes, for sure. Make sure the replay is not just for if you watch it, not just for if you listen to it, but for you want to experience it again. We love you, we value, we embrace you all. Always remember, and on receive love, you gotta give, and receive love, you gotta give, and receive love, you gotta give it. Wherever obstacles you've overcome, wherever success you have achieved upon this particular day, we are extremely proud of you, but no one else is proud of you. Be proud of your damn self. And finally, y'all, just recognize that what you do does matter to people. We've been on for 3 hours, 40 minutes, and 32 seconds. And what Phil said earlier about how La Renee Creole was happy that we were hanging out with each other, just know, just because not everybody is seeing you all the time doesn't mean they're not watching you. So always give quality, whether you're in front of somebody or whether you're not, because that's the truest form of character. And believe me, that goes a long way. And like I said, I know I'm not available at everybody's channel, but for Phil to say that about La Renee Creole, that means she sees us for who we are. And she knows whether we're there or whether we're over here, it's about the quality we give to each other all the time, not just when we show up in the chat. Amen, somebody? Amen with that. One love, much love, all love. We feel the love and send it right back to you. Love you, Phil. Love you, Florian. Good night, everybody. Have a great Halloween weekend for sure. Much love, everybody.
I thought I should tell you, they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner. I thought I should tell you, they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner. I thought I should tell you they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner.
Good evening. My name is Mark Woodbury. I'm the chairman and CEO of Universal Destinations and Experiences. Well, we're finally here. Tomorrow we begin a new chapter at Universal Orlando Resort as we open Epic Universe. We built this place for you. I want to thank you, our fans, for your love of our stories, characters, and immersive experiences that inspired this incredible place. Epic Universe represents over 8 years of meticulous planning, immense creativity, and innovation, combined with unmatched craftsmanship and operational excellence on the part of thousands of people who have brought to life the stories and characters that live beyond each of Epic's portals. But it represents so much more. Your love of Universal and the deep connections we've shared together here in Orlando over the past 30 years inspired us to dream bigger and to push the boundaries to create something extraordinary for you and for generations of fans and families to come. And tomorrow, as we open Epic Universe, I can't wait for you to experience this place for yourself. Now it's your turn to step inside, to lose yourself, and to share this place with the ones you love most. As we open this park, we hope your world becomes a little more epic. Tomorrow, Epic Universe becomes yours.
Are video games getting too expensive? This episode, we want to find some common ground because the CEOs want to raise the price even more.
Not with these broken ass games.
$5 million. That's how much San Andreas costs to make.
Is it their fault for selling or our fault for buying?
Corporations claim all this stuff. Devs say otherwise.
Sports gamers, cozy gamers,
whatever you call the people who play Power Wash Simulator.
I think it stinks a little bit more because I'm spending my actual money and my mom is not. Imagine they get rid of all movie theaters and then charge you the same price to watch the same movie at home.
That's like every streaming service. It doesn't have to be the longest of games, but am I having fun with it? This is Lex. I'm Ronell. Let's get right into it.
Prepare for a journey beyond imagination, beyond belief, beyond anything you've experienced before. Universal Epic Universe, a new theme park where you'll step through extraordinary portals to 5 immersive worlds. Prepare for a cosmic voyage of discovery, an isle of fire-breathing excitement, a shadowy world of monsters and mystery, new wonders in the wizarding world, and a new way to play. Plus the splendor of a magnificent resort hotel overlooking the park. It's all new excitement at Universal Orlando Resort. A week's worth of vacation thrills with 4 amazing theme parks, a variety of spectacular themed hotels, and incredible dining and entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando Resort, where you'll find new adventures every day. Explore the astonishing worlds of Universal Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort.
Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content. Because here's the thing, a good streamer can find other content.
Child Redman over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child Redman over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time. Child Redman over there doing his thing, minding his GD business, staying out of trouble, trying to get the folks some positive stuff to talk about. Besides lying all the damn time.